There were about 30 families in Huangping village, but it was much larger than in Li village as the houses were spread out. Mu Xiaoyun lived near the edge of the village in a house built from hay and earth. There were also 2 brick houses not far from her house. Emo followed to the door of the hay house, and a dark-skinned woman came out from that brick house. When she saw Mu Xiaoyun and Emo, she was dazed when she saw a different Mu Xiaoyun. "Auntie Yu," Mu Xiaoyun called out. The middle-aged woman came back to her senses and said in shock, "Xiaoyun, you're this pretty when you wash your face clean. This is the first time I've seen a girl as pretty as you, Xiaoyun. But who is this?" Mu Xiaoyun immediately said, "Auntie Yu, this is my husband Emo. He went out to do business and just came back. But he was robbed on the way back. I went to Ci town this time and happened to see him there." "Oh right. I wouldn't have even recognized Mr. Emo if you didn't tell me. It's good you came back, Mr. Emo. You don't know how much hardship Xiaoyun went through when you weren't at home. She fell from the roof so many times." Sigh. Auntie Yu sighed. Emo felt confused. Why did she fall from the roof? But he immediately realized the house was a straw bale house. If the hay eroded away, she would need to go up and replace it. "Auntie Yu, my husband is back now, so I repay you the money I owe you," Mu Xiaoyun quickly said. No rush, you still haven't eaten yet. I'll get you something." Auntie Yu felt happy for the two. Mu Xiaoyun quickly said, "Auntie Yu, don't. My husband took me to a restaurant, and there's still food at home too." "Oh, if that's the case, okay. Then I won't disturb you too." Auntie Yu put on an understanding look. Emo understood what Mu Xiaoyun's words meant. He came back with her with nothing in his hands. And this Auntie Yu could tell he wasn't doing too well and gave him pitiful looks. Mu Xiaoyun noticed this and quickly said they went to a restaurant together to save his face. Such an understanding woman. Emo sighed. This woman was a wife any man would want on earth. Mo Yushin was really lucky, yet he abandoned a wife like this and left. The straw house was very simple. There were 2 rooms. An outer room with a stove and some simple daily items, and an inner room with a bed and nothing else. The smell of some herbs came from the inside. Just when Emo wanted to go see what herbs she was collecting, Mu Xiaoyun said, "Mo dear, rest for a while. I will go heat some water and make you something to eat." Mu Xiaoyun made Emo sit down and started to cook. Emo sighed at the busy Mu Xiaoyun. Even if he was to leave, he would take her away from here and find a safe place for her to live. Huangping village was calm, but the Yu family and Liao Wei knew they were here. If he left, they would come to her looking for trouble. But Emo was quickly made to understand that the trouble was already there. Far away, he saw 3 men walk into the village. Emo could tell that they were sent by Yu Yuyen. Emo got up and looked at Mu Xiaoyun. "When I did business outside, I bought some things for you and now some guys came to bring it here. I'll go pick it up, wait for me." Mu Xiaoyun was confused hearing this. But then she saw 3 strangers walking over, and Emo walked towards them. She looked worriedly at Emo. Emo came up to the 3, and before they said anything, he took out a gold bar and said, "Don't disturb my wife. Listen, I found a gold cave and there are lots of gold bricks just like this one there. As long as you agree not to enter my house, I can take you fellas there." The 3 were shocked by the gold brick. After a while, a man grabbed the gold brick and knocked on it. Then he uttered in shock, "Such pure gold." But Emo put the gold brick back in his clothes. "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and tell us where it is. Quick!" One yellow-toothed man ushered desperately. They could always kill this guy later and grab that Mu Xiaoyun after they got the gold. Mu Xiaoyun saw that the 3 left quickly and heaved a sigh of relief. Her Emo babe had really bought her something. Although he hadn't been back, he had remembered her. Mu Xiaoyun felt sweet. "He's different from before," Mu Xiaoyun said to herself. "Xiaoyun, where's your husband?" Auntie Yu brought over a bowl of dumplings and saw Mu Xiaoyun standing by her home by herself. Mu Xiaoyun said with a face of bliss, "My husband went out and earned some money doing business, and he got someone to send some things back. He's picking up those things now. Auntie Yu, thank you for giving dumplings. Xiaoyun, don't say that. It's good that your husband is capable, though. Sigh, a good girl like you was all due to a bad mother-in-law." Sai, let's not talk about this. By the way, what business did your husband do? Auntie asked. Just when she wanted to say something, more women came out chattering. Xiaoyun, your husband is rich now? Xiaoyun, you're this pretty. How come you always covered your face with dirt? Those three men took Emo to the exit of the village, where Emo saw Liao Shan's two other bodyguards. It seemed that they had been waiting there. The three men explained to Liao Shan what happened. Liao Shan heard this and looked rather in doubt. Emo knew what he wanted to say, so he took out his gold brick and waved it. Hurry up and come with me. Then Emo turned and left. Liao Shan's eyes lit up immediately when he saw that gold brick. This was the first time he had seen a gold brick that big. He followed Emo quickly. The remaining 5 also followed quickly. Soon they came to a barren place in the village. Mo, this is the gold cave you're talking about? Mo Shan looked at this barren far-off place and frowned. Mo smiled. This isn't a gold cave. It's the place where your bones will be buried. It's not a bad place, right? Pity that Liao Wei didn't come. To be honest, I really think it's troublesome to go out and kill him separately. You're asking to die. One guard pulled out his sword and wanted to cut off Yemo's arm. Fuck you, you dared trick us? Cut off his arms first, Liao Shan said. Yemo sneered and threw 5 fireballs, and other than Liao Shan, all the men were burned to a crisp. However, the coins they had on them seemed to have grown wings as they flew into Yemo's hand. Then, Yemo spoke slowly to Liao Shan. Sorry, I was wrong. This isn't the place where your bones will be buried. It's the place where your ashes will be spread. Liao Shan looked at the pile of ashes in terror and froze. Do you know why I didn't kill you? Yemo looked at Liao Shan and smiled. Liao Shan's teeth chattered. He couldn't even speak properly. There had been no heaven-shattering battle nor a bloody scene, but Liao Shan felt terror in his bones. He was a yellow-level warrior of the Liao family and had even seen Earth-level masters fight more than once, but he had never seen such maniac means. He had merely waved his hand and a person turned to dust. Such a powerful person had been beat and gotten quite heavy injuries. Who could be stronger than him? This was beyond his comprehension. What shook him even more was that a chair suddenly appeared in the young man's hand and he sat down. Qianbei, if you have any questions, just ask. Just ask. Liao Shan finally understood why Mo hadn't killed him. Although he couldn't be sure that he would survive if he answered, he knew that if he didn't, he would be turned to dust straight away. If he had known that Mo was this strong, he would have rather betrayed the Liao family than to go against Mo. Tell me about the main sects of the magical continent. Which position is higher than a city lord's? And where is Tai sect? How do I get in? Mo asked. When Liao Shan heard this, he started shaking even more. You're that man level 1 hidden sects are looking for. The man level 1 hidden sects were looking for? Mo realized that Jesun was hunting him indeed. As though he realized that Mo didn't know what it was, Liao Shan said, there are 3 levels in the hidden sects hierarchy. The highest is level 1. If a searching order is given, then no matter where you are, people will come to find you. Only those from the 3 biggest sects can give a level 1 order, so those hunted are almost always caught. Mo sneered. Answer the questions I asked before. Yes, yes, Liao Shan quickly said. Half an hour later, Mo finally understood what was going on. The rulers of the magical continent were the hidden sections. Each of these sects controlled one or many cities, and these cities provided resources and fresh blood for the sections. The bigger the sect, the more cities it could control. Small towns and cities also had to provide resources to the big cities to survive. When a sect got strong to a certain extent, it could devour another sect as long as it was stronger than the other sect. Many small sects and powerful people either controlled smaller areas or had become subordinates of a stronger entity. Hangshui was a public city and wasn't ruled by anyone. Many powerful entities had their business and commercial land there. This place was also the place with the densest population. The land there was also absurdly priced. Not everyone could get into the inner hidden sections. People outside only had a chance when these sects looked for disciples in Hangshui. Once you became a disciple of an inner hidden sect, you could go to the people from the sect in Hang Shui. It was impossible to find the sect on your own. If someone got a disciple card, then they could just get in without being tested. The card was usually given to a powerful group or person when they made a huge contribution to the sect. Emo also understood why the Liao family had given the card to Yu Yuyan. Although the Liao family had the card, no one in the family had enough talent. Although the requirements were lower than for a normal entry, the person still had to have some talent. Liao Wei had happened to like Yu Yuyan, and her talent wasn't enough to get in through the normal entry, but it was enough with the card. So, the Liao and Yu family got together and decided to give the card to Yu Yuyan, with the condition that she had to marry Liao Wei. But Yu Yuyan had taken the card and then broken the deal. After that, Emo couldn't get anything more out of Liao Shan, so he burned him down too. Emo had gotten 33 gold coins, 250 silver coins, and more than 500 bronze coins from killing 6 people. Emo didn't know how much it was worth. Still, most of the gold coins came from Liao Shan, so it was probably worth something. With this money, Emo was no longer in a rush to exchange his gold bricks for coins. Emo took out 2 big sacks and placed the food and water he had prepared inside. Then, he went back to Huangping village. Although the 3 golden scripts were on Emo, he didn't dare take them out. Who knew what phenomena they could cause when they were together? If they revealed where he was over. Quite a lot of people had come over and asked Mu Xiaoyun about all sorts of things. But her mind was somewhere else. She stood at the door, constantly looking to see if Emo was back. She was deeply worried that he would leave her there alone again. Xiaoyun, is that your husband coming back? A woman saw Emo carrying 2 bags from afar. Mu Xiaoyun also saw Emo, so she quickly rushed out to help him carry the things. All the men and women who had come over wanted to see how much wealth her husband had brought. But when they saw Emo's scarred face and compared it to Mu Xiaoyun's pretty face, they felt she could do better. Luckily, these thoughts were gone the moment they saw what Emo had brought. He gave the bags to Mu Xiaoyun, and because she had been receiving a lot of help from the villagers, she gave plenty of desserts and famous wines away. Everyone who came got a share. Some people couldn't help to start eating on the spot. The stuff Emo had brought were from the outside, and many people hadn't seen them before. They tasted great. You can have this too, see if it's enough. Emo gave the money bag to Mu Xiaoyun. He didn't know how much things were worth there, and he didn't know how much she owed. If it wasn't enough, he would exchange a gold brick. When Mu Xiaoyun opened the bag, tens of gold coins mixed with hundreds of silver coins immediately flashed in front of everyone's eyes. It was the first time they saw so many gold coins. A strong, healthy rural young person wouldn't be able to earn a gold coin in a year, not even if he was lucky. He would need 2 years or more at least. Yet, Emo had so many and casually gave them all to Mu Xiaoyun. No one there no longer thought Emo wasn't a match for Mu Xiaoyun. Mu Xiaoyun's eyes turned red. She had thought her husband's business money was all gone. Yet he had brought back so much money. Mu Xiaoyun soon repaid her debt with this money. However, the money in the bag was almost untouched. Looking at the eyes of admiration from the villagers, for the first time in a long time Mu Xiaoyun felt happy and blissful. While Mu Xiaoyun was organizing things, Emo was looking at all the herbs Mu Xiaoyun had gathered. The more he looked, the more shocked he was. There were many precious herbs and even 3 spirit herbs: Ming Jie grass, Mantian grass, and double leaf mushroom. Double leaf mushroom was the main ingredient for making the Great Essence Increasing Pill. The Great Essence Increasing Pill was the pill needed at the Qi Gathering tertiary stage, but it was even effective at the Foundation Establishment State's primary stage. Yet he saw the spirit herb here. Emo's heart was burning with fire. This small world was indeed worth the trip. But after Mu Xiaoyun gathered these herbs, only the medical properties remained and not the spiritual properties. Still, Mu Xiaoyun being able to ensure the herbs kept their medical properties already meant that she understood herbs. It seemed Emo would have to ask where she got these from so that he could go scavenge a bit. In the meantime, Mu Xiaoyun had organized her things and came up to Emo, saying, "Emo babe, I have prepared water. Will you be taking a shower?" Emo pointed at the herbs. "Xiaoyun, did you collect these?" Mu Xiaoyun nodded. Yes, but my dad just taught me some ordinary knowledge, so I didn't dare treat the sick. Hence, I gather the herbs and sell them, barely making ends meet with mother-in-law. Your dad is a doctor? Emo subconsciously asked. Yeah. Didn't you know that? Mu Xiaoyun asked Emo strangely. Emo laughed awkwardly. Although he wanted to tell her that he wasn't her husband already, his wounds hadn't healed yet, and it's not like he could kill her. Then, I'll go take a shower now. Emo changed the topic. Mu Xiaoyun didn't mind, and she immediately followed after him. When she saw Emo look at her face blushed, and she said, Emo babe, I will help you wash up. Huh? Emo looked at Mu Xiaoyun and asked, did you always help me wash in the past too? Mu Xiaoyun shook her head. I was very scared of you before, and we didn't get a proper wedding either, so I didn't. But now that you're back, and I only have you, those ceremonies aren't important. Emo finally understood. Mo Yusheng didn't even have a wedding with Mu Xiaoyun before he left the place. It seemed that Mo Yusheng was also very strict, so Mu Xiaoyun was pretty scared of him. His character was different to Mo Yusheng's, which made Mu Xiaoyun feel closer to him. Emo rubbed his head and smiled. It's fine. I can wash myself. Wait for me outside. Mo babe, I'm yours both in life and death. Do you not like me? I don't care about your dash. Mu Xiaoyun almost cried. Emo waved his hand. No, I'm really just used to washing myself. Although Emo rejected her in a nice way, Mu Xiaoyun's mood was still down. It was much easier to wash himself with a few dirt removal and clear water spells. But Emo didn't want to disappoint Mu Xiaoyun, so he took a bath now that she had prepared it. There was only one bed in the room, so Emo was thinking about how to sleep at night. Emo dear, you can go to bed. I'll help you. Mu Xiaoyun quickly came over. When she saw Emo look at the bed in difficulty, she immediately knew what Emo was thinking and quickly said, Emo babe, I've been sleeping in the log room anyway, so you can sleep ahead, while I will go there. Emo's spirit sense scanned the log room, and he became speechless. The room was completely dark and wet. How could someone sleep there? That place is too wet, you can't sleep there. Emo shook his head. No, ever since mother-in-law passed, I haven't changed the grass on the roof yet, so that's why it's like that. Mu Xiaoyun suddenly stopped. She realized something. Her Mo dear had never thought about visiting his mother's grave after he came back yet. This wasn't too right. You're my wife. Don't you want to sleep with me? Mo suddenly asked. If she didn't want to, he wouldn't mind sleeping outside. No, I'm willing, of course I am. Mu Xiaoyun's face was red with excitement. She didn't think her husband would say this. Mo breathed a sigh of relief. Then sleep with me. He could use the spirit stone even if he was on the bed anyway. Mu Xiaoyun waited for Mo to take off his clothes before blowing out the candle and taking off her clothes as well. Mo didn't dare scan her. They were alone on the same bed. Mu Xiaoyun wasn't Yu Yuyen. Even if Yu Yuyen slept next to him naked, he wouldn't think about anything with just a clear mind spirit spell, but Mu Xiaoyun was too lovable. Should he even think about using a clear mind spirit spell? Before Mo could keep thinking, a warm, nice-smelling body squeezed into his arms. Mu Xiaoyun's body was very soft, but Mo could clearly feel her shaking. What are you scared of? Mo felt pity for her and held her coarse hands, but he didn't really know how to comfort her. When her hand was held, Mu Xiaoyun could no longer keep the softness and weakness in her heart. She hugged Mo tightly and cried out as though trying to release all the hardship she had gone through these past years. Mo subconsciously hugged Mu Xiaoyun too and cursed Mo Yusheng for being a bastard. But he immediately felt wrong. He couldn't do that to Mu Xiaoyun. There was a deep sense of guilt in his heart. He felt like he was betraying Luo Ying and Ning Qingxue. He subconsciously loosened his hands but didn't have the courage to push her away and make her cry by herself. Mo was getting pretty scared that Mu Xiaoyun would ask him to take her right then and there or crawl over and do something herself. Meanwhile, his immunity to Mu Xiaoyun couldn't get any lower. Luckily, the thing Mo worried about didn't happen. Mu Xiaoyun didn't do anything. It was as though to her, it was the happiest thing to be in her husband's arms. Even though Mo let go of her, she hugged Emo. Emo calmed down and didn't think about anything. He started running his meridian cycles and found that even without spirit stones, his chi was recovering much faster than at the U estate. After some time, he fell asleep. When Emo woke up again, it was already daytime. He looked down at Mu Xiaoyun. Her underclothes were a complete mess, revealing 2 cheeky white rabbits. A fire rose from Emo's belly. He felt his throat dry, and he subconsciously grabbed those soft things. An indescribable feeling and aroma went into Emo's nose. He couldn't resist it anymore and squeezed them. Felt very good and bouncy. Mu Xiaoyun moaned in her dreams and moved closer to Emo. What am I doing? Emo woke up and was immediately going to pull his hands away, but he then saw Mu Xiaoyun open her eyes. She's awake. Emo quickly pulled his hands away awkwardly. Mu Xiaoyun subconsciously blinked her pretty eyes and immediately understood what was going on. Her face was red. She suddenly felt like she really liked how her husband was acting now. Mu Xiaoyun grabbed Emo's hand and put it on her chest and said quietly, "Emo babe, although we can't be like other couples, I like this too." Emo grabbed the ball of snowy white but was confused. What did that mean? Mu Xiaoyun's face was getting more and more red, and even her neck was red. This was the first time Emo saw a traditional woman like Mu Xiaoyun have that enticing look. Those watery eyes almost made Emo forget that Mu Xiaoyun had no relationship to him. This wasn't right. Emo stopped his hand. He had a wife. How could he do this? The reason why Mu Xiaoyun did this was because she thought he was her husband. Wasn't he taking advantage of her? Emo just thought about that when his lower body was accidentally touched by Mu Xiaoyun's hand, after which he clearly felt her shake, and she grabbed it. Soon, though, she pulled her hand away and didn't move anymore, but Emo could see her ruddy face become pale. She started to shake, much more than before, and Emo also felt her body become stiff. What's wrong? Emo grabbed her wrist again to see if she was sick, but Mu Xiaoyun suddenly quickly got off the bed and didn't even answer Emo's words. Emo frowned. Something wasn't right. With her docile manner, she would never not reply to him. Emo immediately realized that she definitely was not sick. Mu Xiaoyun left really quickly and didn't say anything. She just took a pair of scissors from the stove and stabbed at her throat without hesitation. She was committing suicide. Emo immediately understood that Mu Xiaoyun must have realized that he was someone else than her husband. Of course, Emo wasn't going to let her commit suicide. Emo stopped the scissors with his hands and took them away from her. Why are you committing suicide? Emo's tone was calm. Although he was pretending to be her husband, it was because she had wrongly recognized him in the first place. You're not my dear Emo, you're not Emo Yusheng you. She could only squat down and cry. The husband that she finally liked turned out to be fake. Emo shook his head. She had seen through him. Although he didn't know how she realized, he just wanted to take her to a safe place now and then leave. It didn't seem like that was going to work now, though. In her state, it wasn't suitable to leave her anywhere. Emo didn't regret anything, but he did use her and had even grabbed her chest in the morning. Thinking about what he did in the morning, Emo was very regretful. If he hadn't done that, he could leave just like that, yet now it seemed like she would commit suicide if he left. The reason why she realized was probably because she grabbed his private part, while that Emo Yushang might have been impotent. He needed to comfort her, but Emo didn't know how to. Emo suddenly thought of something. When she met him at Xianxia town, what he saw in her eyes was more fear than longing. Perhaps she was only trying to hide from that triangular-eyed man, and it was just by chance that she met him. Then, after she ate with him, she became more and more dependent on him. So, are you Emo Yoshing's fiancé? Or have you guys had a wedding? Have you guys had intercourse? Emo asked a series of questions. Emo was sure they hadn't. Mu Xiaoyun subconsciously shook her head while she stopped sniffing. Emo thought this woman was really headstrong about her morals. So many women would sleep with other men even when they were married, and they still lived, didn't they? Okay, then at most there was an oral agreement between your parents and his parents. If there was no ceremony, then in reality there's no connection between you and Emo Yusheng, so you're not his wife, right? What's there to be troubled about? Emo suddenly realized that he was being quite eloquent, so he continued without thinking, Mo Yuxing left you and his mom behind. He left for a few years and didn't even give you anything for your living expenses. Is someone like that really worth it? You said his auntie saved you, but you've sustained his mother for so many years all the way until you sent her off. Isn't this enough to repay that debt? This has nothing to do with him. You don't owe him anything. He owes you. Mu Xiaoyun looked up dazedly at Emo. She had never thought of these problems. When she met Emo, she really didn't think about that Mo Yusheng. Her recent feeling of dependence was towards Emo, not Mo Yusheng. Emo suddenly said coldly, "If you want to stay loyal then, now that we've slept together, you're willing to abandon me for scum like him and commit suicide? If you still want to commit suicide then do as you please. I don't care." Mu Xiaoyun heard this and suddenly looked like she had given up hope. She got up quickly and was about to ram her head into a huge rock. If that hit, even Emo wouldn't be able to save her. Emo quickly went in front of her. Her head ran into Emo's stomach. Emo really didn't get why this woman was so stubborn. When Mu Xiaoyun realized that she had rammed into Emo's stomach, she was shook and quickly hugged Emo. Emo breathed easy. She seemed to finally have thought it through. He still needed to correct her views in case she thought too much after he left, though. "Xiaoyun, I'm not actually your husband. I'm from outside the magical continent, from a place called China. In China, even real husbands and wives divorce. Men and women are equal, so you don't have to care about what happened between us, much less worry about that Mo Yusheng." Emo touched his nose and said embarrassedly, "Sorry about this morning. You are really pretty, so I couldn't control myself." Mu Xiaoyun shook her head and squeezed Emo's waist as she pushed her head into Emo's arms. After a long while, she looked up at Emo and said, "Husband, you're right. We've slept together already, yet I was going to commit suicide because of that. And then after I understood it, I was even more ashamed and didn't have the courage to face you anymore." Then, she buried her face into Emo's arms. Emo looked at her speechlessly. What logic was this? He didn't know what to say anymore. If Mu Xiaoyun went into the outside world, she would truly be easily tricked. This wouldn't work. Even if she lived by herself, she would still be tricked. Not every place was like Huangping Village. But at the same time, Emo didn't feel like she was dumb. If she were dumb, she wouldn't have thought of covering her face with dirt. "Xiaoyun, listen to me, you didn't understand what I meant." The outside dash before Emo finished. For the first time, Mu Xiaoyun interrupted him. She calmed down and looked at Emo, saying, "Husband, do you think I'm dumb and easily persuaded?" She shook her head and continued, "When I had nowhere to go but that guy, I met you. I thought you were Mo babe. I never imagined my husband could be this nice to me. I felt happy. I didn't want to leave you, so I came back to Huangping with you." Mu Xiaoyun suddenly stopped and grabbed Emo's hand. "Aya, did the scissors hurt your hand?" "It's fine," Emo smiled. But Mu Xiaoyun still grabbed Emo's hand and looked at it carefully before putting it down. Then, she rubbed Emo's stomach and said, "Sorry, husband. Xiaoyun, I already told you, I'm not your husband. You're a free person. Only the person you marry will be your husband." Emo quickly corrected her. Mu Xiaoyun started crying again. "No, you're my husband. You already said so. We've slept on the same bed and I really like you. Husband, don't you like me?" No, it's because Emo knew that Mu Xiaoyun really liked him. But that might be because she hadn't met many people yet and he had helped at her most vulnerable time. Should he tell her he was married? It might be better. If he didn't have Luoying or Ning Qingxue, he would take her. No matter what, she was a very likable girl. "Husband, were the people searching for you yesterday at Ci Town?" Mu Xiaoyun wasn't dumb. She was only stubborn when it came to men and women relationships. Mu Xiaoyun calmed down. She had understood Emo wasn't her husband, and he had never wanted to trick her disguised as her husband. The only reason he hadn't told her the truth was because he didn't have an identity, and she was the only person who could help him. But in this short time, Mu Xiaoyun had already developed some feelings for Emo. Moreover, after all of that had happened on the bed, could she ever marry someone else? "Yes, sorry about yesterday. I also used you," Emo said honestly. Then he added after some hesitation, I'm actually not from here. I told you before, I come from the outside world. Yemo thought she wouldn't understand, but she actually nodded. Husband, I know about the outside world. There are many countries and many strange things. They can even fly in the sky with tools. Yemo was shook, so he asked her, How do you know about the outside world? Mu Xiaoyun looked down and said, Because I heard mother-in-law talking to him once. Mother-in-law said that father-in-law came from the outside world. Yemo thought about her words. Was Mo Yoshing's father from the inner hidden sex? Mu Xiaoyun kept saying, Our Mu family had been a herbal medical family for generations. My grandpa had a clinic and my dad learned from my grandpa. I also learnt medicine from my dad. I remember when I was small, a Taoist monk came to my house and told me my fortune. He said my future husband would have the surname Yi. That Taoist monk was always very accurate, so when I was 16, his dad gave a marriage proposal to our family. My dad agreed, but not long after, a flood destroyed our home and then there was the plague. Everyone got separated and I was saved by his auntie. Mo is his mother's surname. His father's surname is Yi. I don't know why he goes by Mo, but in fact he's called Yi Yusheng. This was such a coincidence. Mo scratched his nose, wondering about the fact that his surname was Yi. What was Mo Yoshing's father's name? His father is called Yi Kai. Mo was so shocked that he almost dropped the scissors. Husband, she had thought it through. The Taoist might have not been right. Mo grabbed her shoulder and asked, Mo Yoshing's father is Yi Kai? Yes. What's wrong? Husband. Mu Xiaoyun said worriedly. Mo's expression was very weird. Mo calmed down and said slowly after a while, Xiaoyun, my surname is Yi. I'm Yi Moing is my alias. And I heard my father is also called Yi Kai. What? Mu Xiaoyun finally spoke after her initial shock. Mo's surname was Yi. It was her greatest joy. No wonder that Taoist monk had said her future husband's surname is Yi. Yi babe. Mu Xiaoyun could no longer control herself. She squeezed herself into his arms. She was hugging her real husband now. She had tried to kill herself before for someone else without taking into consideration her real husband. However, Mo's mind wasn't on her. He was wondering whether his father was the same person as Mo Yoshing's father. If he really was, many things could be explained. No wonder he looked so similar to Mo Yusheng, and it would also explain why Mo Yusheng is impotent. Suddenly Mo asked, Xiaoyun, you realized I wasn't your husband because Mo Yusheng is impotent, right? How did you know? No, Yi babe, you're my husband. Mu Xiaoyun became anxious. Mo saw that he had scared her, so he quickly hugged her and said, Don't worry. Tell me slowly. I'm not blaming you. Mo sighed. Mu Xiaoyun seemed to be really worried that he might leave her behind. She was like an injured bird that couldn't take any more blows. Mo pitied Mu Xiaoyun. She was gentle and very likable. But if he was to take her, how would he tell Luoying and Ning Qingxue? Mo looked at his hand and suddenly regretted it. He had done this. Mu Xiaoyun calmed a little and said, Once, I came back early from collecting herbs and I saw him fighting with his mom. I didn't dare to go in, I stayed in the log room for a while. I heard mother-in-law say, Your father said your impotence is hereditary. Not even the best doctor would be able to cure it. Mo was more and more certain that Mo Yusheng could be his brother from another mother. He was a cultivator, so he could clear the meridian. However, it was impossible for Mo Yusheng to do that. Mo finally understood it. He didn't have any feelings of attachment towards Yi Kai, and much less towards Mo Yusheng. Looking at the scared Mu Xiaoyun, he suddenly thought of what the fortune-teller she had said. Was that real? If that was the case, he might really become her husband. Don't worry. I'll bring you with me when I leave this place for sure. Then Mo carried her and walked to the bed again. Seeing Mo carry her to the bedside, Mu Xiaoyun's heart started beating rapidly. Her neck became red once again. She didn't know what might happen the night before, but now she knew very well what Mo might do next. She was worried, joyful, and most of all, full of anticipation. Meanwhile, even though it was already nearly dawn, Yemo's spirit sense picked up on that triangular-eyed man again. He was carrying a small bag and was walking sneakily towards Mu Xiaoyun's home. Yemo sneered. This guy's lustful heart sure didn't die. Xiaoyun, you sleep first? I have some things to do. Yemo put her on the bed and pulled the blanket for her. Yi babe, where are you going? Mu Xiaoyun couldn't keep laying down after hearing that, and she quickly got up and grabbed Yemo's hand. Yemo quickly said, Don't worry, I just heard some dogs making noise outside, so I want to check if maybe that Liao guy sent more people. What? Then what do we do? Mu Xiaoyun asked. Yemo gave her a comforting smile and then walked out of the door. Yemo scanned that the triangular-eyed man had some sleep-inducing incense with him. He didn't know when Mu Xiaoyun was discovered by this man, but he couldn't be bothered asking and just threw a fireball over. The man had been entranced the moment Mu Xiaoyun washed her face, and he didn't want to wait so much as a day, but Mu Xiaoyun was very smart and ran off to Ci town very quickly. He even followed all the way there and back to Huangping village, but as soon as he came back, he couldn't even catch so much as a glimpse of her before turning into a pile of dust. Yemo soon returned to the room to find Mu Xiaoyun already properly dressed. She was walking out with that pair of scissors, and when she saw Yemo came back, she breathed easy. What are you doing with the scissors again? Yemo looked strangely at her, but he soon realized that she wanted to help. Mu Xiaoyun blushed. I wanted to help you. Yemo put the scissors away and petted her hair. It's not good to stay here, so I'll be leaving. Will you be coming with me? And of course I'm going with you, husband. In the morning Mu Xiaoyun uttered. She felt bad for ruining the fun in the morning. Yemo smiled and said, There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. One morning doesn't matter. Let's go before the day is bright. I'll pack our things. Then Yemo put all the things in his bag. He needed to leave quick. Although he wasn't afraid of the Yu and Liao families, he couldn't just massacre them every time they came. If he did, it would gain attention after some time. He was about to fully recover, but he needed to study those golden scripts and gather some herbs now. Hearing this, Mu Xiaoyun's eyes flashed with joy. She understood what Yemo meant. Seeing Yemo burn the straw house away, Mu Xiaoyun was dazed for a moment. This was the place she had been living for many years, but she knew that her husband was going to take her away forever, so the things here didn't need to be left behind. The fire woke up the villagers, but by the time they came, the house was already burned down. Mu Xiaoyun felt Yemo carry her, and it was like they flew out of the village like the wind. Show me where you gathered those herbs. We'll go there to collect some while hiding from them, Yemo said. Just continue down this road for about 20 kilometers, and then we'll see Beizi Mountain. Husband, you can let me down, I can walk. I walk very fast, and I often come here to collect herbs myself. Mu Xiaoyun struggled in Yemo's arms. Yemo smiled. I know, but it will be day soon. It'll be faster for me to carry you. Before Mu Xiaoyun could reply, she felt the wind rustle past her rapidly, and as she looked carefully to the side of the road, she saw the trees go by rapidly. She was so scared she quickly closed her eyes. When Mu Xiaoyun opened her eyes again, she found she was already at Beizi Mountain, but Yemo was still going forward fast. Before Mu Xiaoyun could think how Yemo was going so fast, she desperately said, Yi babe, we can't go in deeper. There are many beasts there. It'll be dangerous for the two of us to go in. Wait just a bit longer. Yemo continued for another 10 kilometers before stopping. They had gone deep into the forest by then. As soon as they landed, Mu Xiaoyun quickly pulled Yemo and said, Yi babe, we're in the depths of Beizi Mountain. We should hurry and go out. We can hide from them in the outskirts too. Yemo looked at her worried look and couldn't help but rub her hair. Xiaoyun, I'm no ordinary person. Otherwise I wouldn't have gotten here so fast. Right? I came here not to hide from them but to collect herbs and cultivate. Mu Xiaoyun suddenly realized, yeah, if he were an ordinary person, how could he carry me and run this fast? Mu Xiaoyun suddenly asked, Yi babe, are you from the hidden sects? Yemo hesitated for a moment and said, to be exact, I'm not from the hidden sections. I have many conflicts with them, and so they're actually chasing me. For example, the Tai sect and this nun called Jiesun. They are all my enemies, and because my power is still low right now, I can only hide for a while. Because I just arrived here, I don't even know where the hidden sects are. In the coming month, the hidden sects will be taking in disciples at Xianxia. That's why, first of all, I want to go there and join the hidden sections. So now I want to gather some herbs and get stronger. Otherwise, I won't be able to get revenge and might even lose my life instead. Before I go to Xianxia, I will find a safe city for you to stay and dash. No! Mu Xiaoyun's eyes started to turn red. Although she just wanted to stay there with Emo forever, if Emo would be going to Xianxia, she had to go too. She was scared of staying alone. You're my husband. I'm going with you. Mu Xiaoyun was getting teary. She was scared Emo would leave her behind and not come back. Emo sighed and hesitated before saying, "The thing is, I'm actually already married. I have 2 wives who love me a lot, and I love them a lot too." Xiaoyun, Mu Xiaoyun shook, and she felt like she lost all the power in her body in that instant. Babe wasn't hers? Seeing her stand there for a long time without talking, Emo pulled her hand worriedly. This time, he really didn't know what to say. "Xiaoyun, if you don't mind, I'm willing to take you back to see Luoying and Xianxia. They are my wives, and they're very kind people. They will like you." Emo felt how icy cold Mu Xiaoyun's hands were and spoke worriedly. Why did he have to touch her chest? Why did he have to like a girl like her all of a sudden? No matter what, he had to be responsible now. Mu Xiaoyun's face was full of joy and surprise. A tear fell down from her eyes, and she hugged Emo tightly. She was afraid that the moment she let go, Emo would disappear. Babe, I don't mind. I'm willing to be a minor wife. I'm your woman, I will listen to them. I thought you didn't want me, Mu Xiaoyun was all excited. Emo said softly, "Xiaoyun, did you forget what I said before? On the outside, men and women are equal. If you're willing to marry me, you'll be my wife just like Luoying and Xianxia. There are no minor wives, and you don't need to make things tough on yourself." Babe, do you like me? Mu Xiaoyun really liked Emo, so she couldn't help asking. Emo hugged her. "Xiaoyun, of course I like you. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't be taking you back. Don't think too much anymore, and now I'm going to dig a cultivation home." Emo's words finally made Mu Xiaoyun set aside her worries. Babe still liked her. If he didn't, he wouldn't promise to bring her back with him. And if he didn't, why would he rub her chest? Thinking about how they were going to live there for a month, Mu Xiaoyun's heart started to beat rapidly. Ci Town, Yu family. A middle-aged man and Yu Yuyan sat in the study room discussing something. He was Yu Yuyan's father, Yu Sheng. I didn't think Liao Wei could be that cruel. He took the woman and burned her husband. He didn't even leave a body behind. Yu Yuyan shook her head despite hating Emo too. Although she had accomplished her goal, she had offended Martial Brother Guan. Despite the fact that they didn't have much love for Martial Brother Guan, he was an inner sect member, and if she was connected to him, she would have someone to rely on. After regretting it, Yu Yuyan calmed down and thought about what to do next carefully. It was fine. She could just go explain it to him. After all, she was a virgin, it would be easy for him to verify it. The only pity was that she could cultivate a lot faster next to Moing. If he hadn't died, it would have been good to keep him by her side. The middle-aged man thought for a moment and said, "I think that Mo guy is no ordinary person. If you think carefully, you will realize that ever since he fell into your scheme and was taken out for interrogation, he's acted suspiciously. When he was about to die for sure, he was still very calm. He even said something that shocked everyone. Then he took his wife and left. Liao Wei sent people after him, but they never got to him." "Dad, are you saying that Mo Ing might not be dead?" Yu Yuyan asked in shock. "Should I send people to go there again and check?" The middle-aged man shook his head. "I'm not sure if he's dead or not, but one thing's for sure. He's not a simple man. I don't think he would die that easily." Yu Yuyan nodded dubiously. There was another thing that wasn't normal. When they were drinking in her bedroom, he was fine during the first bottle. However, as soon as he got to the second bottle, he was immediately drunk. Seeing his daughter lost in contemplation, the middle-aged man said again, "We shouldn't care about their business. The reason our family has been able to stay in this town for so long is because we have some power here. Your brothers are all useless, and I have no hope of any of them joining the hidden sections. All our hopes are on you. You must grasp your opportunity at Shangqing Mountain. Yu Yuyan nodded. She knew what her father meant. She was pretty, and even if she couldn't become powerful herself, she could always bring a few supporting powers for her family. Mu Xiaoyun felt some strange was going on. She had come to the mountain with her husband. She had clearly seen him only carrying 2 bags, and she knew what was inside. So she didn't know how her husband had taken out so many items from it. There were even solar-powered stoves. Husband said that he brought them from the outside world and that they no longer needed logs for fire. Other than this, there was also a huge tent. Husband was really capable. Not only had he digged a huge cave in the mountain, he had also put the tent inside the cave. What shocked her the most was that he made a bed appear out of nothing. She almost thought her husband was a god. Mu Xiaoyun believed it was going to be hard living in the mountains with Yimo for a month, but it turned out to be much comfortable than at home. After Mu Xiaoyun saw Yimo kill a wolf easily, she felt completely safe. It was the 3rd day already. Mu Xiaoyun laid on the bed by herself. She was lost in her thoughts. She had thought the first day together would be the day when it happened, but after her husband had arranged everything, he just sat on the side cultivating every night. This made her feel worried and lost. Then, today he dug a huge cave on the other side and said he needed to cultivate something really important so she shouldn't disturb him. It was the 3rd day at Beizi Mountain and Yimo had completely recovered. His power had also increased a little. He was sure that with a good opportunity he could reach stage 6 immediately. The first thing Yimo did after recovering was to take out the 3 golden pages. He wanted to see what they were. Yimo took them out carefully and put them in front of him. Yimo's concern that they would shoot out golden light rays for miles didn't happen. They looked just like normal paper in front of Yimo. Yimo flipped the paper around and around, but he didn't find anything. Half an hour later, Yimo was sure that other than being unable to rip apart, the scripts really weren't anything special. He tried looking with his spirit sense, but his spirit sense couldn't penetrate the paper. Yimo shook his head disappointedly and scanned the 3 pages at the same time to see what minor differences they had. But what Yimo didn't expect was that when he did that, he seemed to have built a bridge between the 3 golden scripts. At that moment, his head buzzed and his spirit sense spread out like water in a broken dam. The 3 golden pages floated in the air, and it was like Yimo's spirit sense was some kind of delicious food. They wouldn't leave before eating it all. Yimo was shook. If this continued, he would lose his spirit sense again. Perhaps he might become an idiot afterwards. He quickly tried to take back his spirit sense, but he found that his spirit sense couldn't be controlled. Eventually, even his cultivation essence started to pour out. At the same time, Yimo spat a mouthful of blood onto the golden paper. The golden pages that seemed to be flying away immediately fused together and shone like the morning sun in front of Yimo. Yimo was exhausted and fell unconscious. The last thing he saw was a golden ray fly into him. When Yimo woke up, he found himself on the bed. Mu Xiaoyun was like a cat, crawled up in his arms. Yimo tested his spirit sense and found it was fine. Then, he used his cultivation essence, which was also full. But Yimo clearly remembered what happened when he fell unconscious. Yimo scanned the cave next to theirs and found it to be empty. The golden pages were nowhere to be found. Where were they? Yimo started checking his body and immediately found a golden spot on top of his dantian. Was that the golden pages? Why had they become a golden dot? When Yimo's spirit sense scanned the gold dot, it couldn't go in. He wanted to take it out, but the golden dot didn't move at all. Yimo gave up on studying the golden dot. Just when he was about to get up, he saw Mu Xiaoyun with tears on the corner of her eyes. Her hands grabbed Yimo's clothes tightly, as though she feared that he would suddenly disappear. Yimo sighed. He saw that his underwear had been changed and his body was cleaner than when he had used the dirt removal spell. Mu Xiaoyun had washed him. Yimo realized that as soon as he arrived there, he had gotten absorbed with cultivation and had neglected her. But she never said anything. It was as though she lived for Yimo looking at her. Yimo reached out his hands and enveloped her. He couldn't control that sweet love and gently kissed Mu Xiaoyun's lips. Mu Xiaoyun was startled at first. However, she immediately understood that her husband had woken up and was kissing her. She suppressed her excitement to shout and eagerly kissed Yimo's lips. Looking at Mu Xiaoyun's tears of excitement, Yimo felt guilty. He felt that before this, his input and Mu Xiaoyun's input were rather unequal. Perhaps if he were to have lost Mu Xiaoyun, he would have felt sad. But time would calm everything for him. For Mu Xiaoyun, however, if she lost Yimo, it would be like losing the entire world. Since he had made her a promise, he would keep it. He didn't believe he wouldn't ascend into the immortal realm one day. If that day really came, so what if he brought a few beautiful wives along? A woman like Mu Xiaoyun was a blessing, not a liability. Yimo let go of the barrier in his heart and felt the barrier on his state itself loosen. He didn't think about other things and just pulled down Mu Xiaoyun's inner clothing. Husband-Mu Xiaoyun looked up at Yimo in joy. She knew that her husband was finally going to take her. Mu Xiaoyun's body was more sensitive than Yimo thought. He merely hugged her, and she immediately became hot and soft. "Yi babe, wait!" Mu Xiaoyun uttered shakily. Yimo stopped in confusion only to see Mu Xiaoyun take out a small, white handkerchief from underneath her pillow. Yimo immediately understood what was going on, and he felt touched. She had been patiently waiting for this day for a while. "Mom said that you need a handkerchief the first time." Mu Xiaoyun's voice was quiet like a mosquito, but Yimo could feel her desire. "Okay, husband, you can come now," Mu Xiaoyun said. A white rose soon appeared on the white handkerchief, and Mu Xiaoyun hugged Yimo tightly. Her mom had told her that the first time hurt, but she didn't feel any pain. Her mind and body were all on her husband, and she could feel her husband's strength repeatedly as she was losing herself. "Husband, you can have this face-preserving pill. I don't need it. I still have many, and even though my looks will recover as soon as I take one, it's better for them to not be able to recognize me. Although I'm not scared of anyone, they have numbers on their side. And if I learn this, will I really be able to fly, husband? Of course, I practice this stuff too. But only we can practice this, you mustn't tell anyone." Husband. Yimo and Mu Xiaoyun had been living in the mountains for half a month. In this half a month, Yimo gathered large amounts of spirit herbs. There weren't many high-level ones, but the environment was much better than on Earth. After Mu Xiaoyun took the face-preserving pill and practiced cultivation, she became more vibrant and had a much more ethereal temperament to her compared to half a month earlier. What made Yimo happy was that Mu Xiaoyun also had a spirit root, but it wasn't much better than his. Comparatively, Luo Ying's spirit root was the best. Then came Beiwei's, Qingshue's, then Mu Xiaoyun's, and finally Yimo's spirit root. To Yimo's great disappointment, Yi Ling and Yi Zifeng didn't have spirit roots. On Earth, Yimo would have had to give up any hope of ascending to the immortal realm, but after he came to the small realm, his confidence grew. Beizi Mountain wasn't famous in the small world, yet Yimo had still already found 9 types of qi-gathering state herbs, and there were many forests like this in the small world, so Yimo believed that if he kept looking, he would be able to find much more. Perhaps he would even find ruins. He already had 2 of the 3 spirit herbs needed for the foundation establishment pill. He just needed to find the Jialan flower, and he would surely be able to reach the foundation establishment state. Yimo used some spirit-nourishing wood and some other materials to make a small necklace for Mu Xiaoyun, and then another storage ring and flying sword for her. He also gave her 2 spirit stones. Mu Xiaoyun had never received such a pretty ring and necklace and couldn't control herself. But in order for her to cultivate faster, Yimo rarely slept with her. Although Mu Xiaoyun wanted to sleep with Yimo every night, she wouldn't reject what Yimo told her. After she heard Yimo say that if she didn't cultivate fast, then many years later they wouldn't be able to be together, she took cultivation seriously. A month passed quickly, and in this month, Yimo just went out looking for herbs and made pills, but he stored most of the herbs in his ring. These herbs could survive for half a month in his ring, and perhaps in half a month, he would be able to leave the small world. Once he returned to Luoyu, he would be able to plant them in his garden. Even with all the pills Yimo provided, Mu Xiaoyun only barely reached stage 1, Hang Shui City. This was the biggest city on the magical continent as well as the most densely populated city. The recruitment of new disciples that took place once every 3 years was about to be held there. The hidden sects were the pinnacle of power in the magical continent. Anyone who joined the hidden sects would have a bright future along with their family. On a wide concrete road, carts came to and fro. Everyone on a cart was well-dressed as only the rich could afford carts. The poor came by foot. A man and woman appeared on this road. The woman was like a goddess visiting the mortal world, while the man's face was ruined and looked very ordinary. Such a pretty woman should be coming over in the most luxurious cart with many servants and maids. Why was she walking with such an average guy? The surrounding people first thought that the woman was being forced by the man. But when they saw her eyes, it was clear that all her mind was focused on that man. Mu Xiaoyun's mind was all on Yimo. As she was still in disbelief about Yimo having flown her to Hang Shui, she still remembered how stunned she had been in the air. Sigh! A bright flower planted on cow dung. Yimo and Mu Xiaoyun didn't seem to hear comments like this at all. There were soldiers checking all the people who came into the city. Normal people needed to pay 5 silver coins each time. Yimo paid 10 silver coins and walked in. And then, Yimo actually saw electric lights there. There was actually electricity there, and the wires were spread like a web all over the place. Why did Hang Shui have such advanced stuff when Ci Town didn't? Yimo soon understood what was going on. The power-generating technology must have been brought in by the hidden sections. Since Hang Shui was where all the hidden sects gathered, they developed the technology there. This was Mu Xiaoyun's first time coming to such a big city, so she grabbed Yimo's arm nervously and kept looking around. Mu Xiaoyun's beauty made almost every man turn around. Everyone felt that Yimo didn't deserve her, but no one dared to do anything because it was Hang Shui City. It was where all the hidden sects were gathered at. Even if you were the city lord of another city, you wouldn't dare do anything there. Although the hidden sects only looked at talent and not character for disciple intake, if you harassed women as soon as you got there, you would still make a bad impression. However, although a lot of people didn't dare steal Mu Xiaoyun away, it didn't mean that people didn't dare to come up and talk. As soon as Yimo and Mu Xiaoyun came in, they were stopped by 3 people. "Hello, brother. I'm Ma Shilong. Are you also here for the disciple recruitment?" The leading young man asked Yimo, saluting with his fist. Yet his eyes were on Mu Xiaoyun. Yimo sneered. He knew what the guy actually wanted. "So you're Ma Shi?" TL note. Ma Shi is a homonym for horse shit. I'm Ma Shilong. Ma Shilong was unhappy that Yimo had gotten his name wrong. "Oh, okay, you're Ma Shi. What was the last word? I have such awful memory. I think the caramel plum there looks good. Let's go have a look." Yimo took Mu Xiaoyun with him, but he just took a few steps before seemingly remembering something. He sighed, "Xiaoyun, let's just leave. Although the caramel plum looks good, someone has already ruined my appetite." Ma Shilong realized now that Yimo had intentionally mispronounced his name. His face burst red with anger as he yelled, "Stop right there!" As soon as he said this, his 2 men already stopped Yimo and Mu Xiaoyun's path. Yimo sneered. Although he wasn't stage 6 yet, that was just a matter of 1 pill. And it wasn't difficult for him to make a cauldron of essence-increasing pills now. Yimo was planning on finding where the Tai sect was before continuing his search for herbs until he reached stage 7. And then he would attack the sect. But this didn't mean he needed to let minor characters like this guy have their way. He would kill them, and if the hidden sect started looking for trouble, then even if he had to hide somewhere outside in the wilderness, he would still accomplish what he set out to do. Yimo pulled out the sword from his waist. If Ma Shilong attacked, he would kill those 3. At this moment, a young man walked out and saluted Yimo with his fists. "Friend, put your sword away. Fighting on the streets is not allowed here. If you attack first, you will be the one suffering, which is just what they want." Then, the youth looked at Ma Shilong and sneered. "So it's brother Ma Shi. I've long since heard of the Mengzhong cities. Ma family's brother Ma Shi. I really did see horse shit today. Just as the name goes, ha ha ha." Everyone around burst into laughter. Ma Shilong's face was green, and he suddenly started hating this name of his. This was the second time he was called horse shit today. This young man was dressed luxuriously and also had a few servants, so it was easy to tell that he was no ordinary person. Who are you? What's my business got to do with you? You're going to take me on for some hillbilly? Ma Shilong's face was sunken. Ha ha! The young man laughed. I'm Lu Lei of Lianhua City's Lu family. And yes, I want to mind this man's business. Do you have a problem with that? You! Ma Shilong's hands were shaking in anger. He had heard of the Lu family before. It was a family on par with his. Due to Emo, more and more onlookers were watching the situation, and soon, the street was almost blocked. Move over, move over. A horse cart appeared. Usually, chariots weren't allowed in the main streets of Xianxia City. Those who could ride them nonetheless were people of high status. It's Goddess Zihua's chariot. My God. Goddess Zihua is actually here. This is too shocking. To see her just once. I'm willing to live a few days less. Emo heard this and moved to the side. He wanted to keep a low profile after all. If Jiesun told the entire hidden sects that he had the golden pages of the Anai Luo Sutra, then it would be the entire hidden sect world chasing after him. Not only Lu Lei, but also Ma Shilong moved to the side. However, that chariot stopped in front of Emo. Soon, a woman in a green dress got off. She had a very exquisite face with thick black hair hanging loosely on her shoulders like a waterfall. It was like she didn't eat mortal food and was out of this world. The way she walked was very enticing too. This was that Goddess Zihua? Emo sent his spirit sense into the chariot, and there was another woman inside who was even prettier than the green-dressed woman outside. She was royal, cold, and it was as though she was covered by a screen of ice 3 inches in front of her. That woman was actually looking at Mu Xiaoyun while seeming shocked. Emo retrieved his spirit sense and lost interest, though. Sister, my young miss invites you to have a talk with you in the chariot. The green-dressed lady came up to Mu Xiaoyun and bowed. Sorry, but I'm with my husband. Mu Xiaoyun quickly replied and pulled Emo's hand. Husband, let's go. She didn't like this many people looking at her and her husband. She liked to be alone. Ha! The green-dressed woman didn't expect to be rejected. She was dazed and said, My young miss is Goddess Zihua. Mu Xiaoyun frowned. She had already rejected, yet this green-dressed woman kept insisting. No way. She rejected Goddess Zihua's invitation? Yeah. Even though it's such a stroke of good fortune. Although this woman is pretty, she's too. Sigh. Emo sneered. My wife already said she doesn't want to. Please leave. Emo frowned, as in that moment he actually picked up on some telepathy. That Goddess Zihua used telepathy to tell the green-dressed lady to invite him in as well, and Emo caught onto it with his spirit sense. This Goddess Zihua was only at the black level tertiary stage. How was a woman at that level capable of using telepathy? Emo didn't believe it, as even he couldn't do that before reaching the Foundation establishment state. This time, the green-dressed lady walked up to Emo. Our young miss invites you and your wife to have a talk inside the chariot together. Emo wasn't interested in the invitation at all. Although that woman could use telepathy, it was just a secret ancient martial arts technique that she was using in order to turn inner chi into sound. This was completely different to the telepathy he would use when he reached the Foundation establishment state. He didn't want to risk exposing himself to this Goddess Zihua. Thinking like this, Emo smiled apologetically. Sorry, miss, but my wife and I are busy. We're very sorry. Please send our greetings to Goddess Zihua and pass on our gratitude for her invitation. Then, Emo looked at Lu Lei and said, Brother Lu, thanks for just now. Do you have time to join me for a drink? Emo didn't know anyone there and didn't know a lot of information. This Lu Lei was a good person. He wanted to invite Lu Lei to a meal, on one hand to thank him but mainly to ask about Xianxia City. The woman dressed in green was dazed. What? Goddess Zihua was inviting him. Yet he rejected it, saying he was busy, and then immediately went on to ask someone else to dinner? Everyone was stunned by this. When the woman dressed in green received orders again, the chariot left. Everyone cursed Emo for being an idiot. If he were to get acquainted with goddess Zihua, someone like Ma Shilong wouldn't dare do anything to him. Lu Lei also reacted and immediately said, "Of course I'm free. I've been here for half a month already. You probably just got here. It'll be on me today then. Let's go to taste gathering Lu." Yunzi had never thought that with her status, 2 ordinary citizens would reject her invitation. This made her very embarrassed, but soon she forgot about it. "Miss, that ugly man really is blind," the green-dressed girl complained. Yunzi shook her head. "That was nothing. I felt like the woman was the truly shocking one. There was such an outstanding woman amongst mortals. Compared to her, I feel like she's the one who is a goddess and not me. Miss, that woman was just an ordinary person. Although she looked a little pretty, she's with that ugly man. How could she compare to you?" the green-dressed girl commented. Yunzi said plainly, "When she was standing there, I don't know why, but I had the feeling as though she could drift away with the wind at any moment. She had somewhat of a spiritual temperament, and so did that man, but it wasn't apparent because of his looks. Anyway, never mind. Taste gathering Lu was very pricey and was very full these days, but because Lu Lei had some connections, he could still get a small room. Lu Lei was a very good character. He liked to help out people that were oppressed, but when they introduced themselves to each other, he found out that Mo had also come to join the hidden sex selection. He said pitifully, "Brother Mo, you missed a good opportunity today." Mo knew that he was talking about that goddess Zihua. Lu Lei explained, "She's the daughter of the biggest merchant on our magical continent. Her father is Xianxia, the leader of the Magical Merchant Association. The Magical Merchant Association is the biggest merchant association of the magical continent. There are countless masters associated with it, and it's said that Xianxia himself is a great heaven peak master. Even among the hidden sects, the Magical Merchant Association has very great status. If you got to know her, then she would only have to say a word and you could join any sect. So that was it." Mo didn't care, though. He believed that with his power, it would be easy to join a sect. "I also heard that goddess Zihua came from the All-Heaven sect, one of the 3 big sects of the inner hidden sections. Even though the All-Heaven sect has declined, but still Lu Lei said. Mo interrupted, "Brother Lu, aren't the 3 big sects Tai, Kuanqian and Ci Hangjing Mosque? Where did this All-Heaven come from?" Hearing this, Lu Lei looked at Mo for a long time in surprise. "Brother Mo, you don't even know this? Tai, Kuanqian and Ci Hangjing Mosque might be the current 3 big sects, but 100 years ago, the big 3 were Ci Hangjing Mosque, Ice Lake and All-Heaven. The big 3 are chosen every century through a tournament. And at the last tournament, Ice Lake and All-Heaven lost. Only Ci Hangjing Mosque remained in the big 3. Then Lu Lei said, "Although Ice Lake and All-Heaven lost their top 3 spot, their power is still undoubtedly great. They're still first-class sects, although apparently Ice Lake is declining rapidly for some reason." Mo immediately asked, "Brother Lu, about the Tai sect, do you know where it is?" Lu Lei shook his head. "I've never been to the hidden sects. As for where they are, you just have to become a sect member and you'll know. No one other than the hidden sect members themselves know where the sects are." Then he reminded Mo that Ma Shilong is a very cruel and evil person. He's known to be quite vengeful. If you don't get recruited, you will need to be careful when you leave Hang Shui City. Mo smiled. If that horse shit dared come for him when he left, then it would be like he was committing suicide. Although he knew that Mo and Mu Xiaoyun came from a small village, Lu Lei didn't look down on them at all. He felt that even though Mo Ying looked very ordinary, he had a certain indescribable temperament to him. If he were really ordinary, he wouldn't have a wife like this either. Mo also knew from Lu Lei that the talents the hidden sects identified were divided into 5 levels. The best were deemed level 1, the worst level 5. The hidden sects were also divided into 4 grades, the special, first, second, and third grades. The 3 big sects were special grade, while the remaining sects were divided based on their power. Usually, no one would take level 5 or below talent, that was garbage talent. Meanwhile, the big sects only fought over level 1 and 2 talents. If a level 3 talent was lucky, he could join a second-grade sect. If he was unlucky, he would join a third-grade sect. Talking with Lu Lei, Yemo learned a lot. When night came, Yemo had to find a place to stay. Brother Mo, I stay at Hang Shui Hotel. You can come over and take a look with me. It's very hard to find a place to stay in Hang Shui right now. Hang Shui Hotel is the biggest hotel in Hang Shui, and the environment there is pretty good. Lu Lei suddenly stopped. He just remembered that the two were both ordinary people, so they wouldn't be able to afford a room there. Yemo just wanted to ask where it was when Lu Lei changed the topic. Other than Hang Shui Hotel, there are also many places near Hang Shui Square. It's further away from the auction, so the housing shouldn't be so tight over there, Lu Lei quickly said. Auction? Yemo felt curious and asked. He had gotten what he wanted from both of the auctions he had been to, so maybe he could get even better things at this one? Yes. Every time the hidden sects take in disciples, they hold a massive auction in the headquarters of the Magical Merchant Association. This time, it's tonight. Then, Lu Lei hesitated before saying, each person has to pay 100 gold coins to enter. 100 gold coins was 10,000 silver coins. A silver coin was enough for a normal family to live for a week. After Yemo bid Lu Lei farewell, he took Mu Xiaoyun to look at a few hotels. They were all full indeed. If he wasn't planning on going to the auction, Yemo would just stay at the Hang Shui Hotel. However, since he was going to the auction, if he caused any trouble, Lu Lei would know something about him. Although he was a good person, Yemo didn't want him to know too much about him when they had just met. Thanks to Yemo's large quantity of gold coin, he finally found a good place to stay a little further away from Hang Shui Square. It was the Blue Sea Hotel. It was very clean but slightly more expensive. However, Yemo didn't care about that. He took Mu Xiaoyun inside the room and immediately started changing his appearance. Half an hour later, Yemo had turned into that big-bearded man again, while Mu Xiaoyun had become an older female warrior. Are we going to the auction? Mu Xiaoyun asked. Yemo nodded and smiled. I still have a few hundred tons of gold in my storage ring. I'll trade them for some gold coins here. I wonder how many gold coins my gold bricks can get. Yemo's gold bricks were from the US. Each of them was almost 10 kilograms. Yemo took Mu Xiaoyun and they jumped out off the window. They bought a chariot before heading towards the Magical Merchant Bank. Although it was already dark, the Magical Merchant Bank hadn't closed yet. Yemo went there and took out 1,009 gold bricks. He stacked them on the ground and covered them. Then, he told Mu Xiaoyun to wait for him while he went inside. 1,000 gold bricks were about 10 tons. When Yemo went inside, he found the inside a bit modernized. Although there weren't any computers, there were magnetic cards. Still, gold checks were the most frequently used. The moment Yemo took out a gold brick at the guest room, the manager was immediately interested. He had seen pure gold before, but never one cut that cleanly and with such size. Because Yemo's gold brick was much purer than gold coins, the bank gave the offer of one brick for 10,000 gold coins. Yemo was very happy with this price. When the manager heard the big bearded man say there were 1,000 bricks left, he almost went crazy. This guy was too rich. The moment he saw the big pile of gold bricks, he was dazed. An hour later, Yemo left the bank with Mu Xiaoyun. He had gotten 10 million gold coins with the bricks. Other than 10,000 gold coins, which he decided to keep in Mu Xiaoyun's ring, he changed the rest into 100,000 gold coins worth checks. Soon, the news startled the higher-ups of the Merchant Association. When Yunzi arrived to the bank, she was also shocked at the gold bricks. That customer was too wealthy. Had he really carried them over on a horse cart? Still, there weren't any marks on the gold bricks. Of course, Yemo had wiped the English words off the gold bricks. When Yemo arrived to the auction with Mu Xiaoyun, there were already a lot of people there. 100 coins was just the entrance fee. If you wanted a room, the price could go up to 1,000 coins. Of course, there were more expensive ones, but Yemo only needed the 1,000 gold coins private room. After paying 1,000 coins, Yemo and Mu Xiaoyun went into their room, number 392. There were fruits in it. They didn't have to wait long until the auction began. Emo scanned his spirit sense in and immediately became wary. There were more than 10 great heaven masters and 3 whose power he couldn't tell. This gave Emo a new perspective on the different power levels there. He had to be careful or he would sink into the abyss. What made Emo feel at ease was that Jiesun wasn't there. However, he did see the Ci Hang Jing Mosque's room. Luo Xian and her big martial sister weren't there. Emo also saw Tai's room. There was an old Taoist monk that he couldn't see through, another great heaven master and a young Taoist monk. However, next to the young Taoist monk there was a busty pretty woman, which didn't seem quite fitting. Emo also saw the Shangqing mountain sect. Yu Yuyan had joined them, but they seemed much poorer compared to Tai Yi. The auctioneer was a young woman. She was wearing a red tight dress that was quite revealing. The young woman reminded Emo of Yun Bing. Like Yun Bing, she had a very voluptuous body. The only difference was that her eyes were full of seduction, while Yun Bing's were very cold. Thinking about Yun Bing, Emo sighed. He wondered how she and Ting Ting were doing. If he had time, when he got back, he could go visit them with Luoying and Ning Qingxue. Welcome everyone to the Triennial Hang Shui Hidden Sex Auction. I'm Menglan. I'll be holding the auction today. There will be many good things tonight and everyone will certainly find something they like. Okay, the auction begins now. The first item is called a solar-powered camera. We can't produce this item here and it can clearly record your image. Emo was speechless. If the entire auction was full of this kind of things, then he would really regret attending. What Emo didn't expect was that it was sold for 10,000 gold coins. That was as valuable as a gold brick, which was worth about a few $100,000 USD. But the gold coins had the buying power of a few million USD. They were doing very good business there. Emo scanned his spirit sense out and saw the contemptuous look on the faces of many hidden sex members. Clearly, they knew the real value of the camera. Luckily, real good items started appearing: magical artifacts, ores, pills, and cultivation methods. But Emo didn't want any of them yet. The next item is an earth spirit fruit. Everyone knows what it is for, but I'll still explain it again. Can give a black level 90% chance of reaching earth level. An earth level peak will also have 20% chance of reaching great heaven. It can improve smaller stages 100%. The starting price is 50,000 gold coins, and each bidding must be no lesser than 100 gold coin dash. Before she finished, the audience rumbled. When Emo heard the words earth spirit fruit, he was also shook. He scanned his spirit sense in the wooden box. It was an earth spirit fruit indeed. The name was the same as the one used in Luoyu continent. It was strange. If Emo had the earth spirit fruit, he could make a cauldron of essence-increasing pills immediately. With that, he could reach tertiary stage of chi gathering. He had to get it. 52,000 gold coins. Someone bid immediately. 55,000. 57,000. 60,000. It was just a moment before the price rose up to 93,000 gold coins. There were many people who wanted it, and that price was obviously not their bottom line yet. Soon, it rose up to 150,000. At this price, however, there weren't a lot of people bidding anymore. It was mainly people from the wealthy families and sects fighting over it. 200,000. Emo called his bid. With this, the scene fell silent. Not because the price was absurd, but because it came from a small room. It was clearly just an ordinary room. This wasn't an issue of money anymore. It was a normal person fighting over it with the sections. 210,000. Someone called out from luxury room 009 with displeasure. It was a man in his 30s. How dare a nameless, sectless guy dare fight over the earth spirit fruit with him? Emo could sense the anger in that voice. He scanned using his spirit sense, and it was the Gemini sword sect. Emo knew from his talk with Lu Lei that they were a first-grade sect. No wonder they were this cocky. They probably looked down on him due to the room he was in. Now Emo was the one who got angry. This was an auction, why would he have to give something away? Even if it were a special grade sect, Emo wouldn't give up on the fruit. 250,000. Emo added. If this guy was going to add more, he would go straight to 300,000. At this moment, no one bidded anymore, and the young master of the Gemini sword sect was unhappy. Even the special grade sects wouldn't want to get into unnecessary conflict with the Gemini sword sect for an earth spirit fruit. After all, it could at most create an earth-level warrior. 250,000 was really the highest price it could be said to be worth. Qi Chichong's eyes flashed with fury. How dare this ant dare take his fruit and act cocky in front of him? Although he wanted to keep bidding a higher price, he couldn't go too far even if he was the young master of the sect. Investigate who that cocky guy is. Even if he's willing to give me the fruit later, I will make him suffer no matter what, Qi Chichong said coldly. Yes. A middle-aged man in the room soon left. Emo picked up on this with his spirit sense and sneered. If this guy dared to look for trouble afterwards, Emo would just kill him. After paying 250,000 worth of gold checks, the earth spirit fruit was sent to Yemo's room. Yemo quickly moved it to a jade box as wooden boxes wouldn't be able to preserve its properties well. Although Lan Meng knew that Yemo wouldn't have a good ending after offending Qi Chichong, she liked idiots like Yemo. Wow! The earth spirit fruit allowed us to see what true wealthy men look like. The master from room 392 is a young but wealthy hero indeed. Please continue to watch out for the following items. Yemo sneered. He knew what the woman was doing. She was using him. Her words not only agitated Qi Chichong, but those who had some pride wouldn't give up on the next items easily either. Soon, everyone looked at room 009 and Qi Chichong's face, which was green with anger. He understood what the woman was doing too, but couldn't help feeling angry. Young master, we'll let him act cocky for now. After the auction, we can make a move. The beautiful woman inside the room comforted. In a certain markless room, a woman in purple was shaking her head. She didn't think there would be such an idiot present. Without any power faction to back him up, he offended the young master of the Gemini sword sect. This was suicide. Miss, that guy is just too dumb. He's asking to die, a pity for the friend next to him. The girl dressed in green sighed. Investigate those two, the other woman said. Okay. Everyone stay calm as the next item is a meteorite or it's a metal essence and can be used to make unparalleled weapons. The starting bid is 80,000. Each increment must be no less than 1,000. Lan Meng waved her hand and some staff immediately carried out a basket-sized ore. People who didn't know how to forge weapons lost interest immediately. So for a moment, no one made bid. But Yemo was shook. This was no ordinary metal essence. This was gung metal essence. He got some fist-sized gung metal essence from Yumiaodon and had already used it all. Gung metal essence was very precious in the cultivation realm. It was the best material for making magic artifacts. Magic artifact or spirit artifacts made with gung metal essence had extremely potent offensive power. Such a big piece of it was right there, yet no one knew what it was. If this appeared in the cultivation world, how many spirit stones would be needed to buy it? Emo had long since thought of making a strong offensive magic artifact after he reached the foundation establishment state. So how could he let this gung metal essence go by him? 81,000. Someone from room 011 made a bid. No one was surprised about this as room 011 was the forgery hall's room. Although they were just a second-grade sect, they were renowned on the continent for their forgery. Most of the weapons from the big sects came from the forgery hall, so their actual status was that of a first-grade sect. But no matter what, Yemo wasn't going to give up on the ore. 85,000. Yemo made a bid, and the venue fell silent. What did this idiot from room 392 want to do? Really? He had just offended the Gemini sword sect, and now he was going to take on the forgery hall? How much money did he have? How many lives did he have? A bald man with a red face in room 011 was dazed. He was a master of forgery and was a half-step great heaven cultivator. He didn't expect someone would fight him. If he really wanted to take it, even Tai would give it up to him. Yet this idiot dared fight over it with him? 100,000. The bald man was angry. Xia Chongyan was one of the 3 vice sect leaders after all. Everyone could tell from Xia Chongyan's tone that he was angry, but Yemo didn't seem to hear that. He called out 110,000 slowly. 200,000. Xia Chongyan's cold voice sounded. 210,000. Room 329's voice followed. Humph. 300,000. Xia Chongyan added. Emo was also getting furious. This baldy dared keep throwing money at him like that, trying to scare him even. Fucking hell, who's afraid of who? 1 million. Emo no longer had the mood to be bidding merely 10,000 more each time. Rumble, the audience ignited. That guy was really wealthy. Moreover, it wasn't the main thing, that guy wasn't afraid to die either. He didn't even respect Xia Qinbei. Xia Chongyan had bid 100k and everyone couldn't help but admire his wealth. But that guy had just offered 1 million. Even an idiot could tell that what Xia Chongyan had done had angered the big bearded man. So he practically gave Xia Chongyan a slap in the face. Very well, very well. Kids lately want to act like heroes indeed. I hope you don't disappoint me. Xia Chongyan slammed the table. A clear handprint was made into the tea table. Emo didn't seem to know that he had offended a lot of people as he paid the money and happily took the ore. Mu Xiaoyun held Yemo's hands tightly. She could feel that a lot of people weren't happy with her husband. But she wasn't too worried, her husband was powerful. Even Lan Meng didn't have the face to keep talking. What a pity. She knew Emo was going to die for sure. But she immediately forgot about it just by thinking about the profit Emo had brought her. In that room, the purple-clothed woman frowned for a long time, as though she was trying to discern who Emo is. At this moment, a girl wearing a green outfit walked in and said, "Young miss, there is a big bearded man and a woman in room 392. It's him indeed." She nodded. He had gotten 10 million from the bank, and he still had a lot to spend. In the following biddings, Emo bought a few more spirit herbs and ores. When Emo bid to a certain extent, no one fought back because they all knew that guy was a madman and did whatever he wanted. Furthermore, he was about to die, so no one cared. Emo knew that he wasn't acting recklessly. If it wasn't very important, he didn't plan on fighting over it with the first-grade sections. Moreover, he was confident he could run away. He had even changed his face. The last items are 5 sets of chi stones. Each set has 2 stones. AMD, it's 500k a set. Each bidding must be no less than 10k. Emo had already scanned it with his spirit sense. There were 5 sets of spirit stones. He rejoiced. He had really made the right decision coming to this auction, but from the price, it seemed that the hidden sects also knew of the importance of spirit stones. It was best for him if he got all 5 sets, but he knew that it was impossible because of both wealth and power. He definitely wasn't a match for the special grade sections. If he got everyone angry, he would have a really hard time. The first set was bought by Tai for 1.3 million, the second set was bought by Ci Hangjing Mosque for 1.3 million, and the third was bought by Kuan Chen sect, also for 1.3 million. Although Emo wasn't comfortable, he could only endure it. Many people looked over at Emo, wondering if he had run out of money, why he hadn't made a bid yet. When the fourth set was taken out, Gemini Sword Sect bid 1.3 million, and Emo added 100k without thinking. Since it was a sect he had already offended, he didn't mind offending them more. Chi Chichong was furious. This guy was clearly going against him. 1.8 million. Chi Chichong knew the importance of chi stones and he wouldn't give it away so easily. If he couldn't get the chi stone this time, he'd be in for a hard time when he went back. 2 million. Emo raised the bid. "Young master, we only have 2 million left. We can't raise it more." The woman beside Chi Chichong reminded. Chi Chichong's face turned green. "Okay. Let him buy it. Let's see how long he can hold on to it." As though they knew that Madman would buy it no matter what, many people gave up bidding. The fifth set was taken out and the Shu Mountain Sword Sect started with 1.5 million. But just when Emo hesitated if he should bid or not, Chi Chichong bid 2 million. Emo rejoiced. It was much better to take it away from Chi Chichong than from the Shu Mountain Sword Sect. Before anyone else could make a bid, Emo raised the price up to 2.5 million. Gold coins were useless to him anyway. Eventually, Emo got the last set of chi stones too. Everyone knew that this guy would eventually lose everything. Chi stones were so precious that even the 3 big sects didn't want to take them all for themselves, much less someone like Emo. As soon as the auction ended, Emo left the place and headed outside the city with Mu Xiaoyun. More than 10 groups of people immediately wanted to chase after Yemo, but they didn't dare to because Gemini Sword Sect and Forgery Hall were already at it. These sects were all first-grade sects, and they had a Great Heaven Master, a half-step Great Heaven Master, an Earth-level Peak Master, and a Black-level Peak Master. Yemo had offended these two sects, so his fortune would be split in two. It was one of the tacit rules among sects. No one would say anything. Yunzi looked at Yemo and Mu Xiaoyun leave and shook her head. If they could escape, it would really be strange. That big bearded guy had done something like that and dared to leave the city at that time. Even she had to admire his courage. It was like suicide. Even if he didn't leave the city, it wouldn't end well. But at least in the city, the sects still had some concerns. Yi babe. There seemed to be a few people following us. Mu Xiaoyun saw that someone was following them. It was clear they didn't even bother hiding. Yemo smiled. So we'll have to go out of the city to get rich, and then we'll come back. Seeing Yemo and Mu Xiaoyun go faster and faster on their chariot and head to a barren place, Qi Qichong sneered and looked at Xia Chongyan. Xia Chenbei, I didn't think this guy liked death so much. Not only does he dare leave the city, but he's also going to a deserted place. He really knows how to find a burial ground for himself. Xia Chongyan sneered. Although he was the weakest of the 4 sect leaders in his sect, his forgery skills were the best. Even the sect leaders of the Big Three would call him Dao Friend when they saw him. Yet he had been humiliated by this idiot. Xia Chenbei will split his gold checks evenly. His metal essence will be yours, while we'll have 1 set of chi stones each. If Chenbei doesn't need anything else that man might have, then I'll take the leftovers. Of course, I'll leave the big bearded man himself to Chenbei. Qi Qichong knew that Xia Chongyan probably hated Yemo to the bones, so he was already arranging how to split things. Xia Chongyan sneered. Fine. As long as I can personally kill that idiot. Of course, even if that woman is ugly, Qi Qichong laughed. No matter how ugly the woman, she would suffer if she offended Qi Qichong. Meanwhile, Yemo knew that out of the 4, there was only the Great Heaven Master whom he had to have some concerns about. The other 4 were really no threat to him. He only needed to ambush that Great Heaven Master, while the other men there today would just be easy money. Xiaoyun, continue on the chariot for a while and then wait for me. Yemo looked at the approaching dawn of the day and knew that they must be about to attack. Mu Xiaoyun trusted Yemo greatly. Yemo jumped off the chariot while invisible and hid by the side of the road. He didn't move at all, because he knew that if he did, the Great Heaven Master would notice his chi signals. Elder Ming, Xia Chenbei, let's attack. Qi Qichong looked at the middle-aged man beside him and at Xia Chongyan. Okay, let's attack. The others nodded and sped up to the chariot. The middle-aged man following Qi Qichong was at Great Heaven, so he was the fastest. He passed by Yemo first, and the moment he did, Yemo jumped out of his spot while his flying sword turned into a white ray and pierced the Great Heaven's Master's heart from his back. As soon as Yemo moved, the Great Heaven Master felt the chi wave and had the feeling of impending death creep over him. He immediately knew things were bad and that someone was trying to ambush him. He instantaneously tried to dodge the sword. But Yemo was already capable of killing a Great Heaven Master by himself under normal circumstances. While this was a sneak attack, so with Yemo's flying sword speed, even the Great Heaven Master couldn't dodge it. As the sword chi exploded in the Great Heaven Master's heart, the middle-aged man couldn't even resist. Seeing that the strongest guy was dead, Yemo rejoiced. He was hoping for this man to be heavily wounded first and then he would try to kill him, but this fellow was truly careless as he just chased after the chariot without being on guard. He was asking to die. This also gave Yemo a reminder to never underestimate his opponent himself and to always be on guard. The middle-aged man's back spewed blood, and he crashed a few meters away. This immediately shook the other 3, and they all stopped as they at the big bearded man in shock. You're asking to die. Xia Chongyan was the first to react and charged over at Yemo. He simply thought that the middle-aged man had been killed due to being ambushed and seemingly forgot that the man was a Great Heaven Master. Even a Great Heaven Master was ambushed. How well could he do? Yemo put his flying sword away in contempt. as he really didn't feel any pressure facing a half-step Great Heaven opponent. Emo kicked up the curved sword the middle-aged man had used. Clash, clash soon. Xia Chongyan's metal whip was cut into many segments, and Xia Chongyan was scared shitless. If he still didn't know that he was no match for the big-bearded man, then he would be too much of an idiot. The enemy was countless times stronger than him. He couldn't resist at all during that clash. No wonder he killed a Great Heaven Master. Xia Chongyan could no longer care about his face and anger. All he wanted to do was run, but as soon as this thought came up, he felt his left shoulder go cold. His entire left arm was cleanly sliced off from the shoulder. Xia Chongyan was devastated and turned to run without thinking. Emo actually didn't chase him. Instead, he jumped up and kicked the earth-level man who had come with Xia Chongyan in the chest. The man had wanted to run too, but he was immediately knocked out. In this short while, though, Xia Chongyan was nowhere to be seen. Qi Chichong's face went pale. In just a few breaths, his Great Heaven Master was killed, and that Xia Chongyan had lost an arm and run. Never before had the young master of the first grade sect felt so close to death. As he looked at Emo walk over slowly, his face went pale. He wanted to beg for mercy, but his teeth were chattering. Although he was a black-level peak martial artist, his power had been built up using pills, and he had no fighting experience. He didn't even know what to do now. "You can't kill me. I'm the young master of the Gemini Sword sect. Please forgy-dash," before he could finish. Emo knocked him out with a kick. Emo took all of his attacker's gold checks and then picked up the curved sword from that earth-level cultivator and pierced it into the Great Heaven Master's wound before nailing Qi Chichong into the ground with the sword. Then, Emo went up to the Great Heaven Master's side and carved "forgery" onto the ground before leaving. By the time Emo finished doing this, Mu Xiaoyun came over. "Xiaoyun, these people wanted to kill us, so I killed them," Emo explained, fearing that Mu Xiaoyun would be scared. Mu Xiaoyun grabbed Emo's arm as she shook her head. "Yi babe, I'm not scared." Emo approved of Mu Xiaoyun's guts. Most girls would be afraid of such events. Emo picked up the earth-level man and took Mu Xiaoyun on his flying sword all the way to Xianxia City before landing. Emo woke the earth-level man up and pointed at the stalls outside the city. "I have sealed your meridians, and unless I open them for you, you will die for sure. I need you to do something for me now. Go to that stall and buy a set of fighter clothes for me. Do it quick. And if you play any tricks, you won't be seeing today's sun." "Yes, Chenbei, I understand. Will you be able to dash? Hurry up, you have no right to be asking me questions. If you want to keep talking, you don't need to go anymore," Emo threatened as he was about to attack. That earth-level man no longer dared to hesitate and quickly ran to the stall and bought the clothes before running back hurriedly. Emo nodded with satisfaction before turning the earth-level man and the clothes he had bought into ash. Then, he took Mu Xiaoyun into the Blue Sea Hotel while invisible. Although she didn't know why her husband did all this, Mu Xiaoyun never asked. When it was day, Emo and Mu Xiaoyun returned to their normal appearance and walked out of the hotel. Emo didn't eat anything with Mu Xiaoyun at the hotel but went outside searching for news instead. The reason why Emo did what he did was because Emo knew that if he really killed all four, then even if it didn't have anything to do with the pair, they would still be suspected. So he defeated all of them, but he didn't kill that Xia Chongyan, instead letting him go to play a dirty trick. Just when Emo and Mu Xiaoyun walked out of the hotel and came to the Xianxia Square, they saw many people gathered there in groups discussing something. "Brother Mo, over here," Lu Lei called from a breakfast shop. Emo quickly went in there with Mu Xiaoyun. "It seems Brother Mo has found a place to stay." Lu Lei was happy to see Emo. Emo nodded. "Yes, we're staying at the Blue Sea Hotel. There are no more options any closer." "Not bad. Blue Sea is a good place." Emo immediately asked, "Brother Lu, what are these people gathered here talking about?" Lu Lei looked around and then whispered, "It said that Forgery Hall and Gemini Sword Sect will be fighting in Xianxia City. They're about to have a full-on battle." Emo heard this and rejoiced. Everything had gone according to his plan. If he could drag this on for a little longer, even if people found out he did it, it wouldn't matter. Emo pretended to be shocked. "Aren't those two both first-grade sects? How come are they fighting?" Lu Lei shook his head and drank some soy milk before saying, I just heard about this too. They say that at the auction last night, there was this really rich big-bearded man. He took both Gemini Sword Sect and Forgery Hall's items and of course, they wouldn't let him go. But theoretically, they both hate the big-bearded man. They should be working together. Why are they fighting each other? Someone from the other table asked. Lu Lei didn't answer, but someone replied for him. A black-faced man from another table answered, It's like this. After the auction, both sects chased after that big-bearded man. Seeing more and more people listening, the black man said satisfyingly, This was no big deal, but the problem is that 4 people went, 2 from Forgery Hall and 2 from Gemini Sword Sect. However, only 1 came back, Forgery Hall's vice sect leader Xianxia. What? That big-bearded guy is that strong? The man asked. Emo was shook. That man had said this unintentionally, but if everyone thought that, it would be dangerous. The black man said in contempt, Use your brain before speaking. That big-bearded man looks like he's in his 30s at most. Do you think he can beat 4 masters with a woman? One of them was a great heaven master from the Gemini Sword Sect. Some things are obvious, if you just used your brain. Seeing that everyone was captivated by words, the black man said with more satisfaction. This morning, Xianxia came back with a lost arm. He said that the big-bearded man had done it and that he was very strong. He killed a great heaven master and made him heavily injured, but no one believed this. Then what? Someone else asked. Emo noticed that there was a crowd around him too, so this was how the discussion groups were formed. Then what? Of course, go investigate the scene. The black man said, looking happily as more and more people gathered. And what happened next? The black man replied, A few neutral sect masters went and saw the bodies of Gemini Sword Sect's elder Ming Jifeng and the young master Qi Chichong. He was nailed to the ground with a curved sword. That curved sword belonged to the missing Earth-level master of the Forgery Hall, Wei Wu. Ming Jifeng's wound had also been caused by this sword. Hoo! Everyone yelled out in shock. The black man said again, This wasn't the most important thing. Most importantly, someone said that under Ming Jifeng's hand there was the word, forgery. It might be because Elder Ming Jifeng was very powerful and didn't die immediately. So he carved that word to leave behind a clue. Do you know which sword cut Xia Chongyinshinbei's arm? It was Elder Ming Jifeng's sword. No wonder, someone exclaimed. But why would Forgery Hall do that? And where's that Wei Wu? Someone thought and asked. At this moment, a fat warrior intervened. I heard that big-bearded man is very rich. He probably had a lot of good stuff on him, and wealth always triggers greed. I heard people say that they saw Wei Wu outside the Hangshui city buying some daily items, as though he was leaving. Emo heard this and felt he had overdone it. It looked too suspicious. Someone definitely doubted it already. But even so, he only needed to get by for the next days. The biggest meeting room in Hangshui city was filled with the masters of many sections. Xia Chongyin's face was green. He only had 1 arm, but he still had to attend. I already said that guy framed me. Wei Wu and I are just at half-step Great Heaven and Earth level. How could we have killed Elder Ming Jifeng? If I had really killed him, how could Wei Yi have left behind that curved sword? Why would he leave the evidence behind? Xia Chongyin was angry, but he still had to explain. A white middle-aged man from the Gemini Sword Sect sneered. Xia Chongyin, you did it, but you don't dare admit it. Do you think the Gemini Sword Sect fears you guys? You didn't kill my son, Qi Chichong? Would he kill himself? Would a great heaven master kill himself too? Of course you can't kill our elder with your pitiful power. But if you suddenly attacked from the back, who would be on guard? Xia Chongyin was angry, but he knew it wasn't the time to rage. He could only suppress his anger and say, To all the sect leaders here and sect leader Qi, that big-bearded man is really a master stronger than Great Heaven. I admit I'm not match for him. When he killed Elder Ming Jifeng with a long sword, I couldn't even see it clearly. Ha ha ha! The sect leader Qi was so angry he laughed instead. Xia Chongyin, you old fart. You're saying a person in his 30s is stronger than a great heaven master? Everyone, Qi Yoshin, want to ask you, have any of you seen a 30-year-old Great Heaven Master? Has the continent even had a Great Heaven Master younger than 45? Xia Chongyan, you also said that Big Bearded used a long sword. Then, how come your wound was caused by a curved sword? Why? Why is your metal whip also damaged by Elder Ming's curved sword? Old fart. Even if our sect dies, I will kill you. Then, Qi Yoshin pulled out his long sword. Seeing this, the Gemini Sword Sect Masters also stood up and pulled out their weapons. This also caused Forgery Hall's side to stand up and pull out their weapons. Everyone, please listen to us. Kuan-Qian Sect. Although Vice Sect leader Xia has great suspicions about this case, we haven't found Wei Wu yet. I think we should find Wei Wu first. He was just seen outside the city this morning. Although his appearance is very suspicious, I think we should investigate it first. An old man from the Kuan-Qian sect stood up. I agree to Ling Xinbei's proposal. Wei Wu's actions were very strange. Also, how did that big bearded man disappear? Neither him nor his partner have been seen. This is very strange. A Tai sect elder got up and said, everyone knew that old man from the Kuan-Qian sect. He was Ling Wuxia, a great heaven peak master. He was a master amongst masters in the magical continent. He also had Chen Kuan sect as his backup. Although Qi Yoshin didn't want to give up, since Ling Wuxia had said that he could only wait. No matter what, Yemo knew that he wouldn't need to worry about it for at least a couple of days. He took Mu Xiaoyun around shopping in Xianxia City. These days were the absolute happiest for Mu Xiaoyun. Not only could she stay with her husband, they even had fun walking around the city. She liked looking at jewelry, for example, and she didn't have to buy any, but she would be content looking around. She couldn't remember how long it had been since she could walk around freely on the streets like that. When she was young, her mother also held her hand walking in the busy streets while looking around. But that disaster took everything away. That disaster separated her and her family, making her struggle alone in Huangping. For those thousands of days and nights, she suffered and never had a full meal, and still she had to take care of the mother-in-law who always cursed at her. If she hadn't met Emo, she would still be suffering somewhere. Mu Xiaoyun wiped the tears from her eyes as she thought in self-mockery. When I was young, I was also a mother's baby. Emo felt Mu Xiaoyun's sadness and pulled her hand and asked, Xiaoyun, what's wrong? Mu Xiaoyun clasped Emo's hand tightly and thought, I'm in my husband's care now. Mother should feel assured in the heavens. Young miss, look, it's those two we saw yesterday. That girl is really like a flower planted in cow dung. That girl dressed in green said, when she saw Emo and Mu Xiaoyun walk into a jewelry shop. Yunzi smiled. She no longer had the intentions of inviting them again after yesterday. But when she saw them, she frowned. She felt like she had seen their figures somewhere else as well. But she couldn't remember where. What's wrong, young miss? The green-dressed girl immediately asked. Yunzi said in confusion, I feel as though I've seen them recently. The green-dressed girl laughed. Young miss, of course you have. You saw them on the streets yesterday. Yunzi laughed at herself. That's probably it dash. Just when she wanted to leave. She suddenly stopped. Wait, I didn't see their backs yesterday. I just saw the woman and felt like she was extraordinary. But just now I felt their backs specifically to be very familiar. Their backs. Yunzi suddenly murmured, and her face changed drastically. She said, Xiaoling, check if they left the city in the morning and came back afterwards. Or no, never mind. Yunzi thought, it shouldn't be them. If those people left in the morning, they wouldn't be walking around freely here. They would have long since have been caught. But from the back they really seem like that big bearded man and his woman. The day went by very fast for Mu Xiaoyun, and when she came back to the hotel with Emo, she was still relishing the day. Although Emo really wanted to make the essence-increasing pill right away, he was scared that the Earth Spirit Fruit's chi would catch the attention of some masters. So he didn't dare to. Mu Xiaoyun squirmed into Emo's arms and suddenly said, Yi babe, are those chi stones very precious? Emo nodded. Yes, I call them spirit stones. They're very useful to our cultivation. Since they're so rare, they're precious. Then Yi babe, I don't need it. You can have them. Mu Xiaoyun wanted to take out her spirit stone but was stopped by Yemo. No need. Keep it for yourself. You cultivate the slowest right now, so I want you to hurry up, otherwise you won't be able to keep up. Hearing this, Mu Xiaoyun quickly put her hand down. If she couldn't keep up, then what if Yi Babe, Sister Luoying and Sister Qingxue ascended into the immortal realm without her? She would be left alone again, and she would have nothing again. Yi Babe, I think I should get up and cultivate. Mu Xiaoyun felt the pressure and wanted to cultivate immediately. Yemo pulled her hand and said, It's important to cultivate, but you don't need to buy this desperate. It's a slow-paced thing, and the more you're worried, the more you can't keep it up. Mu Xiaoyun felt her mouth blocked by her husband and immediately softened up. On their second day in Hangshui, it was the first day of the hidden sex recruitment. Hangshui Square was the biggest square in Hangshui and was tens of thousands of square meters big. Yet because there were a lot of people, it was still very busy. When Yemo and Mu Xiaoyun arrived at the square, Yemo found that the sects were divided based on their grade. The special grade sects were in the most obvious place. Yemo scanned around and found that each of the big three had a great heaven master present. He saw that Tai sect also had a master. When Yemo's spirit sense scanned to the Tai sect, he felt the Tai sect master subconsciously look over at him. Yemo immediately reined in his spirit sense. This guy was an extremely dangerous person. Yemo had planned to join Tai and reach stage 7 before then getting revenge. But now it seemed that plan wouldn't work. He decided that before reaching stage 7, he wouldn't have any contact with Tai or the other big sects. Yemo carefully avoided the 3 big sects and moved his spirit sense elsewhere. There were 12 first grade, 36 second grade, and 120 or so third grade hidden sections. There were also many other ungraded small sections. Yemo eventually decided to join a second grade sect. The special grade sects had long lines that would take a day to be checked. Even though the second grade sects had much less people queuing up than the special grade sects, there were still a lot. Let's go to a third grade sect, Yemo said helplessly, and went to a sect called the Flash Fist sect. Joining the line, Yemo found that the testing speed was surprisingly fast. The first stage of testing entailed putting your hand on a device and using inner chi to activate it. Those without inner chi would just put their hand on the device and the interviewer would activate it. There were 5 crystal balls on the device, and when the interviewer activated their chi, the balls would either light up or have no reaction. The brighter the balls, the higher the talent. The balls had different colors too. Yemo was suddenly shook. Wasn't this the device used to test spirit roots? How could the small realm have such a thing? Yemo sent his spirit sense out and found that almost all the sects had it. He didn't even know how to make it, yet there were so many in the small realm. Although these things were daily street items in the cultivation realm, this was the small realm. He had to get one no matter what, or at least find out how they were made. As Yemo scanned the device with his spirit sense, he found it worked based on a simple 5-element formation. But soon Yemo realized that this was the most simple way of testing for spirit roots. It could only test whether one had any 5-element spirit root. It wouldn't be able to identify mutated spirit roots. Indeed, the devices used in the cultivation realm had 8 crystal rods. No talent next. The interviewer was very fast. Most people here were unsatisfactory. But master, I can cultivate. I'm already a yellow level. One man who was denied looked at the device in disbelief. He could clearly cultivate and cultivated very quickly. How could he have no talent? The interviewer's face sunk. I already said you're unsatisfactory? What are you saying? If you don't believe me, test somewhere else. The man left with a sullen face. He had already just come over from another sect. Yemo knew that this guy might have a mutated spirit root. Level 5 talent, unsatisfactory. Next. No talent, unsatisfactory. Level 4 talent, stand behind me. Soon it was Yemo's turn. Yemo placed his hand on the device and sent in some chi. But there was no reaction at all. No talent, unsatisfactory. Next. The interviewer's cold voice sounded. Before Yemo could say anything, he was squeezed away. Mu Xiaoyun quickly came over to him and grabbed his hand. Yemo looked at the device in confusion. How could he not have spiritual root? He could cultivate. Those without spirit root couldn't cultivate, and Emo didn't think he had a mutated spirit root because there was no way he would cultivate this slow in that case. Husband, let's go to another place. Their device must be faulty. Mu Xiaoyun's words caused some laughter. Emo smiled and didn't mind. It was normal that these simple devices were faulty. He pulled Mu Xiaoyun's hand and went to the farthest sect. He might as well go to an ungraded sect, since he couldn't enter a third-grade sect. In the end, they went to a few sects, but all the tests indicated that he had no talent. This made Emo speechless. If that was the case, then he couldn't join the hidden sects at all. If he didn't join them, he wouldn't be able to get news of Tai's sect. Wasn't Ice Lake a special grade sect before? Why was it just a third-grade sect now? Emo stared at the small sect with the name Ice Lake. Husband, why don't we try this sect? Mu Xiaoyun also saw Ice Lake. Okay, let's go have a look at Ice Lake. Emo nodded and agreed. The man next to Emo heard this and said in goodwill, Brother, I suggest you not to go there. They're just a third-grade sect. But do you know what kind of talent they require? Level 3 or above. If I had level 3 talent, I would go to a second-grade sect. Why would I bother going to a sect that can barely stay as third grade? Emo finally understood why there were few people there. Emo scanned the place. There were 5 people. A black-level middle-stage man in his 50s, a middle-aged woman who was black-level, and a young girl with her face covered who was also black-level. It seemed the 2 women were responsible for recruiting disciples. Their power was indeed worse than a regular third-grade sect. Other than them, there was also a young teenager. He looked very skinny. Emo believed that these were the new disciples they had gotten. The last person was an old woman in her 60s. Just when Emo was about to take back his spirit sense, he was shook. He couldn't see the old woman's power. Before the old woman frowned, Emo took back his spirit sense. He knew that such a powerful master could sense his every move. One of the 3 people he hadn't been able to see through the previous night was at Ice Lake. Why was Ice Lake a third-grade sect when they had such a master? Emo didn't want to join such a sect. It was too strange. The old woman looked around as though she had sensed Emo's spirit sense. He didn't dare to keep looking around. Just when he wanted to leave with Mu Xiaoyun, the middle-aged woman suddenly said to Mu Xiaoyun, Do you want to get tested? Put your hand on the device and insert Yu Qi. Mu Xiaoyun found herself walking up to the device. The middle-aged woman's words were very amicable. Husband, can I take the test? Mu Xiaoyun looked back at Emo. Emo smiled. Sure, try it. We'll come back tomorrow. The reason he had said this was because he knew Mu Xiaoyun's spirit root wasn't much higher than his. Hearing this, Mu Xiaoyun joyfully placed her hand on the device. She had long wanted to test her talent. The middle-aged woman really liked Mu Xiaoyun when she saw her. She was pretty and had this ethereal temperament to her. That's why she had offered to test her. Mu Xiaoyun placed her hand on the device and inserted her qi. There was a bright green light. What? Almost everyone's attention was caught by this bright green light. Even Emo dazed. He didn't think Mu Xiaoyun was a level 1 talent. The old woman in Ice Lake stood up in shock and looked at Mu Xiaoyun with disbelief and joy. The best talent of the level 1. Good, 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 the old woman said in excitement. The middle-aged woman grabbed Mu Xiaoyun's hand and said, What's your name? You passed. You are now Ice Lake's core disciple. The middle-aged woman's hands were shaking. The news of the best talent in level 1 had been found soon spread through the entire square. Almost all first-grade and special-grade sects knew about these news. All of Tai, Kuanqian, and Ci Hangjing's mosque people came over. It was already very hard to discover a level 1 talent, much less a very good one amongst them. Grandma! The middle-aged woman saw that more and more people coming and looked worriedly at the old woman. Haha, Grandma Feng, Ice Lake is really lucky. You found a level 1 talent on the first day. Kuanqian's Ling Wushui is very envious. An old man came over, but his voice sounded first. Emo stood on the side, staring at the old man. Just from his temperament, he knew that he was no weaker than the old woman. Thank you, Brother Ling, for your kind words. Miao Lian, record this disciple. She'll be Ice Lake's core disciple from now on, the old man said plainly. The middle-aged woman heard this and replied, Yes, Grandma. Wait. Ling Wuxia suddenly waved his hand and said, Kuan-Qian is willing to give you more than 10 cities and 5 spots for herb collection at 5-1 Mountain as long as Ice Lake can hand over this disciple. Tai and Ci Hang Jing Mosque, who had come later, didn't say anything after seeing Ling Wuxia had given such an offer. This was the best they could do too. If Ice Lake agreed, they could reach second-grade sect in the next sect and resource division. The old woman sneered, Sorry, Brother Ling. Our Ice Lakes has had a broken generation. It's time for us to get disciples. With this, are you trying to ruin our foundation? Although Ice Lake has declined, we can't destroy our own foundation. Brother Ling, please leave. Ling Wuxia sneered and looked at Mu Xiaoyun, saying kindly, Girl, Kuan-Qian is one of the big 3. If you join us, not only will you have far more resources and higher status than Ice Lake, your family will also be honored. Ling Wuxia, what are you doing? The old woman suddenly appeared in front of Ling Wuxia. Tai sect and Ci Hang Jing sect's people knew that although Ice Lake had declined, Grandma Feng's power was indeed very strong. It wasn't worth to start conflict over a disciple. How about this? Let's see what this girl wants to do herself. If she wants to join Kuan-Qian sect, then she does. If she wants to stay at Ice Lake, she can. If she wants to join Tai, then I will also let her become a core disciple. An old man from Tai quickly said. Emo was very calm. He knew there were at least 3 great heaven-level masters. If he exposed himself there, he wouldn't be able to escape, and much less take Mu Xiaoyun with him. Of course, Emo knew why she had such talent but cultivated so slow. He had given her a water element cultivation method when she was a pure wood element spirit root. Ice Lake's old grandma sneered, but she didn't say anything. She knew that Ice Lake relied purely on her and she was sick. She couldn't act tough in front of the big 3 sects. Mu Xiaoyun also seemed to understand that her talent was very rare, but she just stood by Yemo's side closely and said, I'm only going to stay with me husband. Ling Wuxia smiled. That man didn't deserve Mu Xiaoyun. He glanced at Yemo with killing intent flashing across his eyes. He said calmly, Of course, your husband can also join Kuan-Qian sect. If Mu Xiaoyun joined Kuan-Qian, he could kill Yemo at any time. He would just have to find an excuse, perhaps say that his cultivation went wrong. Xiaoyun, if you join Ice Lake, your husband can come too. The woman with her face covered suddenly said. Mu Xiaoyun didn't talk and looked at Yemo. Everyone at the scene realized that the deciding power was in the hands of that garbage of a man. So everyone looked at Yemo. Although the masters there wanted to kill Yemo, they still had to play nice, hoping that Yemo would choose to join their sect. Yemo sneered. He had already seen Ling Wuxia's killing intent. He wasn't afraid, but he didn't want Mu Xiaoyun to join a sect full of killing intent. Tai was no better. Although Yemo didn't know Ci Hangjing Mosque, since Jesun was in it, they wouldn't be much better either. Yemo saluted with his fist calmly. Thanks for all your interest in me, but I have decided to join Ice Lake. Hearing this, Ice Lake's people rejoiced and the old grandma's bleak face was full of bliss. Ling Wuxia and the few other great heaven masters immediately looked at Yemo with ice-cold expression. Interest in you? Stop taking all the glory for yourself. If it wasn't for Mu Xiaoyun, who would you be? HMPF, they come from Lianhua City, Ci Shi Town, Huangping Village. Yunzi nodded. Xiaoling, investigate what they did at Huangping Village. After Yemo and Mu Xiaoyun joined Ice Lake, Grandma Feng really liked Mu Xiaoyun. Although Yemo was tested again and told to have no talent, it didn't cause any dissatisfaction because everyone could tell Mu Xiaoyun's heart was tied to her husband. Everyone thought that guy, Moing, was too lucky to be loved that much by such a genius. After the middle-aged woman's introduction, Yemo found out that she was called Miao Lian, and that the young girl with her face covered was called Ji Ilan. The 50-year-old man was called Fu Guanshi. The oldest woman was called Grandma Feng. Everyone in Ice Lake called her Grandma. The yellow-haired young man was called Fei Qing. He was a level 2 talent. Emo and Mu Xiaoyun had to move to Ice Lake's place to stay. This was expected because anything could happen if they stayed at the old hotel. Perhaps due to Mu Xiaoyun joining, Ice Lake got 2 other level 3 talents. A guy and a girl. The guy was called Zhang Yan and the girl was called Qi Shuoya. On the 3rd day, the last day of the hidden sex recruitment, Yunzi sat in the biggest room of the Magical Merchant Association, looking at the intelligence Xiao Ling had gathered. Yunzi put down the intel and said after a long while, "Xiao Ling, invite Yu Yin to come." Yunzi was very suspicious of Mo Ying and Mu Xiaoyun now. They didn't care about the Liao family's hunt and came to Hangshui City. Why was that Mo Ying so special that Mu Xiaoyun loved him that much? Was that big bearded man related to Mo Ying? If he was, did Mo Ying really have no talent? Yu Yuyan had never imagined that goddess Zihua would invite her to the Magical Merchant Association. It was like the heavens were favoring her. Shangqing Mountain Yu Yuan greets goddess Zihua. Yu Yuyan greeted. Yunzi studied Yu Yuyan and suddenly smiled. "Miss Yu, I'm really sorry for suddenly inviting you here. Please have a seat." "What are you talking about, goddess? It's my honor to be invited by you," Yu Yuyan quickly replied. Yunzi was straightforward. "Ian, I heard you know a Mo Ying of Huangping Village. Is that true?" Yu Yuan was shook. She wouldn't have thought that goddess Zihua knew Mo Ying, a nobody. But she didn't dare not to reply to her. "Yes, I found Mo Ying heavily injured on the way to Ci town and I pitied him. So I took him back to the Yu estate. I heard you were seen on the same bed with Mo Ying. Is that true?" Yunzi smiled and asked. Yu Yuyan knew that if goddess Zihua really wanted to find out about this, it would be quite easy. So she just said, "Yes, I felt he was a good person and he knew quite a lot, so I had a good impression of him. That night I drank with him and then we slept with each other. I gave him my first time, but I didn't know him well. He put all the blame on me in front of everyone, saying that I'm Yu Yuyan sniffed, as though she was too sad to keep talking. "So that's the case. It must have been really hard on you. Xiao Ling, send Miss Yuyan out and give her a bottle of qi-improving pills." "Yes, Mississippi." The green-dress girl took Yu Yuyan out while she rejoiced. She didn't think she would get a bottle of qi-improving pills that easily. That pill was an important pill for yellow-level warriors. In a while, Xiao Ling came back and said unhappily, "Young miss, Mo Ying really is a bad person. Mu Xiaoyun is really dumb. Why does she follow that sort of guy so loyally?" Yunzi smiled. "I don't know if Mo Ying is a bad person, but he's definitely no simple person." "Why is that?" Xiao Ling asked strangely. Yunzi sneered. "Because Yu Yuyan lied. She said she gave her first time to Mo Ying, but she's clearly a virgin." "Huh." Xiao Ling was dazed and continued. "But why would she frame herself like that?" Yunzi shook her head. Mo Ying clearly didn't touch her, but he still admitted it and even exaggerated, saying that she had had an abortion. Hence, Mo Ying is not ordinary at all. 3 days went by rapidly, and Mo was really excited as the sects were finally going back to their hidden bases. The sects didn't leave individually. They gathered together and only after traveling by chariots for a few days did they stop by a seemingly endless sea. Mo finally knew why the hidden sects were so hard to reach. Not mentioning the harsh wind, the waves were really tall. Some tall building-like ships were docked by a dull port. Other than these big ships, Mo also saw some small wooden boats that were fishing boats. When Mo scanned the tall ships, he noticed that they were metal ships and some even had steam engines. They also had sails, but those weren't up. So the hidden sects were gathered on the other side of the sea. No wonder it was so hard for normal people to go to the hidden sections. Only the hidden sects had the power and money to build such tall ships. Perhaps they had even captured some engineers from the outside world to build them. Ice Lake's status was low, so they stayed near the back, but Mo still found out some things from other people's conversations. Apparently the hidden sects always came over by boat, usually 4 times a year. It was very hard for anyone to reach and enter the hidden sects, and all sorts of verifications were needed, but to come out from the hidden sects was easy. The ships were very big, and each sect had their own area on a ship. Although Ice Lake was a 3rd-grade sect, They still had their own area with a kitchen and tens of rooms. This was enough for a small sect like Ice Lake. Some other sects which had a lot of disciples, however, oftenly had multiple recruits sleep in one room. Although most of the ship was filled with hidden sect members, some non-member people from the outside also came along. They did so to do business, and merchants like them usually made the trip just 2 or 3 times a year. Emo noticed that the special grade and first grade sects lived in the best areas. They had a proper sea view and much more space. Those ungraded and normal merchants lived in the worst areas, but even the worst areas weren't really bad. Martial Sister Xiaoyun. Sleep with me tonight. We'll have a talk. Jialan, the sect leader, said with a crisp voice. Mu Xiaoyun blushed and replied softly, Sorry, Martial Sister Elan, but I'd like to stay with my husband. Jialan and the people around were speechless. These two were too clingy. Xiaoyun, when we go to the sect you will need to stay in the core disciple area while your husband will have to stay outside. You need to learn to live apart from your husband. This isn't just a matter of a day or two. Miao Lian saw this and said. Mu Xiaoyun shook her head. I will live where husband lives. I won't separate from husband. Miao Lian looked speechlessly at Mu Xiaoyun. This girl was so pretty, yet why was she so stubborn? What was so good about that ugly man anyway? Your husband will also live in the sect, but he can't cultivate, so you can't worry about him. You need to cultivate as fast as you can to be able to be of help to him. Miao Lian thought hard to find something to comfort her. But Mu Xiaoyun just said, I'm staying with husband. Brother Mo, Martial Sister Xiaoyun will cultivate faster with us. If you stay with her every day it will affect her progress. So you should try to convince her, Jialan said. Emo smiled. Xiaoyun is my wife, and she needs to stay with me. You! Jialan was so angry she couldn't say anything. She had never seen someone this selfish. Not only could he not cultivate himself, yet for his selfish purposes, he was hindering his wife's cultivation progress too. Emo couldn't be bothered to explain. Knowing that Mu Xiaoyun had a pure wood spirit root, he had been trying to find her a suitable cultivation method. He wouldn't let her learn the garbage ancient martial arts. Looking at Mu Xiaoyun's adamant expression, she knew it would be impossible to persuade her. If she said anything more, Mu Xiaoyun might dislike her instead. It seemed that the most important thing in the world to her was her husband. Okay then, Jialan sighed and left with Miao Lian. Emo closed the door and said to Mu Xiaoyun, Xiaoyun, I know now that you have a pure wood spirit root, and the reason why your cultivation went slow was not because your talent was bad, but because I gave you an unsuitable cultivation method. I don't have a wood element cultivation method yet, but don't cultivate anything for now. When I find a fitting cultivation method, then you can cultivate. Okay, I'll listen to you. Mu Xiaoyun didn't have any objections. Also, I'll need to go out and have a look around later. I'm worried that an enemy might also be on this ship, and if that is the case, we'll need to be careful. Emo didn't know if Jiesun wasn't somewhere close by. Husband, I'll go with you, Mu Xiaoyun immediately said. Emo shook his head. Your test revealed you to be a level 1 talent. So many people would recognize you. It's better for you to stay here. Auntie Miao, do women have to cling to their husband like that after getting one? Jialan really didn't understand why Mu Xiaoyun wouldn't want to leave Emo at all. Miao Lian shook her head. No, but if they're newly wed they don't want to separate. After some time, the feelings calm down. I've researched this Mu Xiaoyun, and she's just a normal woman from Huangping, so frankly put, she hasn't seen much in life. When she sees more young, talented people, perhaps her views will change. Don't be in a rush about it. Emo left the Ice Lake area and used his spirit sense very carefully. When he scanned Ci Hang Jing Mosque's area carefully and didn't find Jiesun, he relaxed. Suddenly Emo felt someone watching his every move. He didn't turn back but carefully released his spirit sense. Soon, he found it to be that goddess Zihua. Emo didn't think she would also be there and frowned. He believed he didn't act out of the ordinary, so why did this woman keep watching him? No matter what, Emo didn't want to have too much contact with this woman. He started walking faster. Brother Emo, you're also here? A surprised voice stopped Emo. He immediately knew it was Lu Lei. This meant that Lu Lei had also been chosen. Haha, I've become Shu Mountain Sword Sect's outer sect member. But when I arrive, I hope to do well and rise to an inner sect member. Which sect are you in? Lu Lei's face was full of excitement. Although Shu Mountain was only a second-grade sect, it was a peak second-grade sect. The Ice Lake sect for me, Brother Lu. I didn't think I would meet you here, though. Emo really wanted to go visit the Shu Mountain Sword sect. He wanted to know if the legend of the Shu Mountain in the outside world was related to the sect here. It's you? A cold voice suddenly sounded. Emo turned back to see Yu Yuyen, and her expression was a little weird. From the bottom of her heart, Yu Yuyen was surprised that Emo had managed to get on the ship. She had thought Emo might be related to goddess Zihua, but later she decided it was impossible. If he wouldn't have allowed to be harassed by Liao Wei like that. But still, Yu Yuyen didn't dare do anything to Emo in case she was wrong. You got here, I really didn't expect it. Seems like Liao Wei is really kind-hearted. He took your wife and simply let you go. Yu Yuyen didn't want to talk to Emo anymore. Martial sister Yuyen, who is that ugly guy? A few guys immediately came up surprising her. Yu Yuyen sneered. A cocky guy. His woman was taken away, but he's still acting cocky here. If I was him, I would have jumped in the sea. His mere existence is an embarrassment. She didn't want to talk much to Emo, but his sardonic eyes made her very unhappy. With her martial brothers helping her out, she had started to talk shit. Emo sneered. People say that one night as husband and wife, 100 days of feelings. Even if it was just one night, I still slept you and helped you get an abortion. How can you talk like that? Emo knew what Yu Yuyen wanted. It was to control all the men there so she could have them at her mercy. But he wasn't going to let her get away so easily. You shameless. When did I dash you? Yu Yuyen was shaking with anger again. Emo was more and more happy. She said slowly, how could Liao Wei know us then? He was your fiancé, but he caught us on the same bed. Sai, it's embarrassing to bring this up. Why do you force me to tell? Yu Yuyen's face was purple with anger. You're asking to die. Martial sitter Yuyen is clearly a virgin. But you dare insult her like this? I, Pan Cheng, will teach you a lesson today. A white man took out a long sword and was about to attack Emo. Emo looked strangely at this guy and said, Pan Cheng, I didn't think you had so much experience with women. You really go from flower to flower, don't you? I think you two might have a brawl. Pan Cheng could see Yu Yuyen's situation. He wanted to get her, but now that he had been exposed as an experienced fuckboy, he was unsatisfied. He lifted his long sword and tried to stab Emo. Lu Lei was standing on the side. Emo had the upper hand in the dissing battle, so he didn't say anything. But when Pan Cheng attacked, he pulled out his curved sword without thinking. The sword almost got to Emo, so when the swords clashed, sparks were scattered on him. Watching from afar, there was Yun Zifi. She was frowning. Emoing didn't look like he had any power, but when Pan Cheng's sword almost pierced his skin, his eyes didn't even blink. If it wasn't for the man behind him, Emoing would have been heavily injured already. Had he not had time to react, or was he not scared at all? Shu Mountain friend, this is Xianxia Mountain's business. Why are you intervening? Pan Cheng's face wasn't good. Although he was at yellow level, he could tell Lu Lei was no weaker than him. The main thing was that Shu Mountain Sword Sect had ranked higher than Xianxia Mountain. Lu Lei felt very happy. If he hadn't been a Shu Mountain disciple, he wouldn't have dared to fight the guy. Fighting is not allowed on the ship. If anyone fights again, they will be kicked out. Before Lu Lei could reply, a law enforcer arrived and said seriously. Everyone moved away from the law enforcer. They were no joke. Getting kicked out of the ship meant getting thrown into the sea. The sea was endless. No matter how much power you had, it was a certain death. Brother Emo, why don't you come to my place and have a chat? Lu Lei pulled Emo. He wanted to bring him to his place. Emo saluted with his fist. We are all now in the hidden sects, so we'll have plenty of time to see each other. We still have a month left on this ship. I have some things to do today, but once I'm done, I will come over. Emo really was busy. He had found out that Jesun wasn't there, so although he didn't dare to make an essence-increasing pill, He wanted to try to reach stage 6. When he got to his room, he found that Jialan was also at the door. He was about to ask what she was doing there when Mu Xiaoyun opened the door. Seeing Yemo come back, Mu Xiaoyun hugged him with joy. "Husband, you're back." The joy in Mu Xiaoyun's eyes was real, yet Jialan frowned when she saw it. But soon, she got back to normal and said politely to Yemo, "Brother Mo, I would like to have a chat with Martial Sister Xiaoyun. Would that be convenient?" Yemo smiled plainly. He looked at Jialan and said to Mu Xiaoyun, "Xiaoyun, go. I'll wait for you in the room. Moreover, you've been with me all day, you must be bored." But I would never get bored of husband." She knew that if husband were to stay at Ice Lake, they mustn't offend Jialan. After Mu Xiaoyun and Jialan left, Yemo closed the door and sat down. He sunk his mind into the golden dot. But no matter what Yemo did, his mind was blocked out. "Perhaps I'm too weak," Yemo murmured and took out a spirit stone to cultivate. "What's wrong, Martial Sister Ilan?" Mu Xiaoyun sat down and asked politely. Ilan hesitated before saying, "Martial Sister Xiaoyun, although Ice Lake is just a third-grade hidden sect, our reserves are copious. A few decades ago, we were also one of the big 3. The reason we're declining is not because our cultivation method isn't good. It's just that we haven't found suitable people. Martial Sister Xiaoyun, your talent is top-notch. I think our Ice Lake can rise again." "Thank you, Martial Sister Ilan," Mu Xiaoyun said calmly. Jialan was speechless at how calm Mu Xiaoyun was. "Xiaoyun, do you know about what's beyond Great Heaven?" After reaching Great Heaven, ancient martial art cultivators have 200 years of life and can even glide in the air for a while. It's said that there are states higher than Great Heaven, but no one in the magical continent has reached it yet. It is already very powerful to be at Great Heaven Peak. It's said that those above Great Heaven can use a feather to float for many miles. Jialan was trying to get Mu Xiaoyun interested in cultivation. Mu Xiaoyun's thought about her words. So only those who reached above Great Heaven could glide in the air for a while, but there were none in the magical continent. Still, her husband could carry her and fly for thousands of kilometers. Thinking about that moment, there was a spark in Mu Xiaoyun's eyes. Seeing this, Jialan breathed at ease. She finally had gotten Mu Xiaoyun interested in ancient martial arts.